Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
What's going on? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show on this Tuesday morning. Getting set, getting in, getting ready to go. Shout out to everybody that made it in bright and early. It was somebody came through with a little effery right out the gate. We gonna ignore that and keep it pushing. I'm not even go. Shout out to Famous Davis in the building. Looked like that says Princess Cammy, if I read that correctly. Thank you for coming on through. Peaceful Pulley in the building. Shout out to you. Who else we got in here? Clue in the building. I'm going to miss some of the people that made it in bright and early, but thank you, everybody that came on in. Hit that like button if you're already in here. We already got 70 or so people in the building. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm getting it set up right now, so I can hit the like button my damn self. I just see, we got Angry Man in the back ready to come up. So we about to get this thing started, taking care of a few things. Also shouting out early birds, people that make it in bright and early. Derek Payne in the building, salute and shout out to you. My man New in the building. Shout out to New, the Mac the Trucker in the building. Ray Clemens, Eric Reed. And Clue came through super chat right out the gate. Appreciate that. He says, let's get these likes up. Absolutely 100%. Let's get these likes up. Yeah, keep the likes coming on in. Let people know you're here. Who else we got in here? And Man of Tomorrow in the building. Shout out to Man of Tomorrow. Aaron B. A few more people in here. American Negro. Sir Tice, Terrence B. All right, that about covers it. Skipped a few people, but it was a lot of them. But without further ado, didn't even bother doing a pre-show sound check because I know everything in pocket and ready to go. We got Angry Man in the building. What is going on? What's up?
What's good? What's going on, Bernard?
Man, another day, man. Glad to have you back on the show. Always love when you come through, dropping knowledge, wisdom, and insights on us, man. We definitely appreciate that over here. So man, starting out right out the gate. I normally like to ask people how did they even get involved in this space, in this sector. I asked you that the last time you was on here. Because I can't ask you how did you come into this space, because you were one of the founding members of this space. You talked about how you ultimately got started, but we're not going to rehash that. But one thing I do want to talk about as we wait for people to come in is that I noticed, well, everybody noticed a huge change in your content when you went that route of the street conservative, because we are going to be talking about some politics in here. I want to talk about that move where you went the political route, and you did a good job. Something you've been saying you was going to do for a while. You said you was going to stay out of all the BS, and you actually doing it now. You actually doing a good job at not getting dragged down into none of this effery that go on in this space. You just been focused on your content and been killing it over there. So let's talk about that just as we wait for people to come on in. 100 people in here. Y'all hit that like button. Let's talk about that that change, why you got more laser focused on the political side of it and focusing on those different topics. So go ahead. Let's start off right there.
Well, I decided to jump into the politics because like I started noticing a shift in politics. I started noticing this sort of nationalist populist movement with 45. I'm not gonna say his name because you know how the YouTube algorithm is. So I just started noticing a huge change in like basically his presidency towards the end and the incoming presidency. And the one thing that I noticed more than anything is like I had a feeling this was going to be one of the most important elections that we've ever had. Mm-hmm. So, in a lot of ways it was, and we're still seeing some of I don't think we're going to see the full effects of everything that just happened until probably when it's time for the next presidential election. I think by then we'll see the full effect of everything that happened. But when I started noticing that, I wanted to dive into it because I saw a lot of people talking about it, but it was certain aspects of it they weren't talking about. And so I wanted to go more in depth, and I just decided to jump in it,
Yeah, no, that was definitely a good move. I liked it. I liked how, from what I noticed, from what I could tell, you even got tangled up in a different algorithm to some degree. Yeah. That's okay. I thought that's what I was seeing, because I was seeing all kinds of new people that I never saw before in this space donating to you. I was like, oh yeah, Angry Man hitting a different algorithm. So I was like, yeah, that's definitely a good move. One thing that I started talking about periodically on here, I did it with the first show that I did on it, at least I think the first one, when I had Male Enlightenment TV, Ohene Mora, on here. We was talking about the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and how that's a game changer. And I noticed you was on that yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So let's talk about that, because the title of this show is how do black men win? We're gonna be covering everything from finances, politics, relationships with women, fatherhood, manhood, or just the overall image of black men. But as far as the finance aspect of it, let's talk on that Bitcoin and how that could be a game changer for brothers, not just Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency overall. How that could be a hands down game changer for brothers. Let's get into that one.
Yeah, well, for a long time I was against cryptocurrency. So like back in I want to say 2017, 2018, a lot of the guys that used to go to BGS's channel when he used to have his Saturday night shows, they would get into cryptocurrency. And, I was dead set against it. because I didn't, everything I heard about cryptocurrency early on was that it was used on the dark web. It was used for illegal activities. So, me thinking the way anybody's thinking, like this is something sooner or later the government is going to shut down or something like that. Or, so I really wasn't, wanting to get into it. Plus, every time I asked someone to explain cryptocurrency, how it holds value, how it works, what's the blockchain, like nobody had a decent explanation, So every time I would ask about it, no one really gave me a detailed explanation. So last week, I think last week or the week before last, something like that, I was doing a show and we were talking about politics a little bit. And ever since the new administration came in, I pretty much told everybody that, there's no sense in us, those of us who were against that administration, there's no sense of us crying over spilt milk. And, he's in office. So the only thing we could really do is pay attention to what they're doing on Capitol Hill and how that can affect the market. And, when 45 was in office, you saw economic surge. And, with 46 getting in office, we're looking at, okay, is he going to mess up the economy? How is this going to affect everybody that invests? Because, even though I wasn't into cryptocurrency, I've always been into investing in the stock market, in the regular market.
Mm-hmm.
So we started getting into a conversation one day about the market and paying attention to what some of the politicians are doing on Capitol Hill. Like, for instance, 46 claiming that he's going to replace all of the government vehicles with electric vehicles. And then all of a sudden you see Nancy Pelosi grab $1 million in stock, $1 million worth of stock in Tesla. So it's like we should pay attention to stuff like that so that, we can actually try to get somewhat ahead of the game when it comes to investing. So while I was talking about that, a couple of guys, a few guys in my chat room that are really into cryptocurrency, they started telling me, hey, Angry Man, you need to check out crypto. You need to check out Bitcoin. You need to check out this, check out that. And I told them, I said, look, man, I really don't understand Bitcoin. I don't understand how it works. None of that, right? So one guy was pointing out one particular crypto for me to, kind of get my feet wet. He was like, yo, man, check out Dogecoin, right? Mm-hmm. And so while I'm doing the show right there on the spot, I looked up Dogecoin on Robinhood, which in hindsight was a little bit of a mistake, but needless to say, I grabbed like $100 worth of it. And, everybody continued talking about, Bitcoin and all of that. And I finished the show. And later on that night, when I was getting ready to do my second show, I opened up Robinhood just to look to see what the Dogecoin had done. And I had already made like $100 within just a couple hours. So I was like, oh, man. So when I went live, I'm still talking to everybody about it. And I decided to do my due diligence. One of my other subscribers said that she was going to send me some information. So later on that night, I just kind of binge watched as much information as I could find on cryptocurrency. And the information that my fan sent me was actually a brother that, kind of like me, kind of street dude or whatever, but was very extensive at explaining Bitcoin. So I finally, looking at the way he explained it, it finally made sense. So I'm like, oh, so this is what it is. And so ever since then, I just, been diving into it. I've only been really dealing with it for like a good week or over a week, but I've already made a couple $1,000s in profits or in gains. So,
yeah.
Just having that happen, and getting a better understanding of it, it's definitely, blockchain, the way we do business digitally, like blockchain is the future. There's no getting around that. Like everybody that's not really paying attention to it is going to miss the boat. I almost missed the boat. You feel me? Because I'm coming into it late, as a lot of people are coming into it late. But if black men want to be competitive or want to have any type of prosperity in the next, 10 years, they're gonna have to get into crypto in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, definitely. I felt the same way in terms of coming in late on it. I felt like I came in late, and I don't even feel like I didn't even invest that much. I just looked at it as the money sitting in my savings.
Yeah,
just gonna pinch some of that off and just let it sit there. And I've made a couple thought, well, closing in on $2,000, and I haven't even been in it that long. So it's like it's crazy. So the people who got in early, shout out to, I think Ty City got in pretty early.
Yeah.
Solo been talking about this back before I even understood what it was. Male Enlightenment TV. So yeah, it's definitely brothers that have got in early that's been leading the charge with that. As far as this space, would you say that because I've always said this, I always say that the Manosphere, the Black Manosphere, is doing a good job at despite all the stuff that we talk about that some people could criticize. I do think it's doing a good job at getting brothers focused, and a lot of brothers then became truckers from listening to content in this space. Then got laser focused on skilled trade, picking up a trade, and investing. Now it's getting a lot of brothers into crypto that would have never thought about crypto. So I do like to praise this space. But what do you think as far as what this space is doing? Those three things right there. Do you think it's doing a good job at getting brothers focused on that kind of stuff, or not? Like, what do you think is that as far as the space getting brothers focused on those things?
I think it's helping brothers to start asking the right questions.
Yeah.
As far as what brothers should be doing. Because the space is so competitive, and if nothing else, this space is highly critical, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being highly critical. It's just it's only when it gets into the back and forth insults with each other that I've played a role in. So it is what it is. But I think the brothers being highly critical of each other, because I've had discussions with brothers about crypto, and I've made some statements, and there was a couple of brothers that corrected me, like, oh no, you don't want to do that because of this, or so it's a good thing that the space is like that, because you got guys like MOT, who I've heard give guys plenty of information on the trucking business that other guys would pretty much hold that type of information close to the chest. You're not really just going to give it away freely. I've heard Ty City give extensive information on crypto. It's so many brothers that have their hands in certain things that it's good for the space. In fact, we need more of that. That's part of the reason why I haven't been able to quit cold turkey when it comes to talking trash, but I've been trying my best to stick more to topics and content that I feel like is going to help brothers improve their situations financially, even though I'm not a financial advisor. I do not give financial advice. I just have discussions about finance and speculation.
Yeah. If you said you've been talking trash, you must haven't been doing it as much because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. So you clearly kept it to it. You keeping it to a minimum.
I'm cryptic when I do it because I got to vent. I got to get it out. But when I do it, I try to be cryptic and I try to limit it to. So if I hear a content creator say something that I think is goofy or I don't agree with, I'll try to limit it to critiquing the what they said and not the person. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, that's what it's all about. That's my personal philosophy with this. I try to attack the ideas, not the people. I try to stay laser focused on that. If it's the ideas they saying wrong, I will go in on that. Shout out to Crypto with Lionel. We talking about all this crypto talk. Shout out to Lionel. You got a good crypto channel, wealth of information on there. All right, far as the politics end of it, what is it that you think black men need to do as far as politics? You know, it's been a movement, go conservative, vote Republican, but a lot of people have critiques like that's just not hitting the mark. Black men just throwing a vote over there. So what specifically would you say black men need to do in terms of politics, next moves going forward? There's going to be, the every 2-year election that a lot of Negroes don't show up to vote for, just show up every 4 years. So there's so many layers in there that so what do you think brothers need to do as far as organizing, just whatever, just when it comes to politics? What do you think the next ideal step is?
They need to play a bigger role. Brothers need to play a bigger role in local politics.
Mm-hmm.
They need to. It's weird because with black men, they seem to only mobilize as a voting bloc behind black women's agendas.
Mm.
So black women, they'll mobilize as a voting bloc, and they'll fight hard usually to get a Democrat in there. But when it comes to brothers don't really mobilize like that. There's a lot of brothers here that are conservative or Republican or whatever, but most black men, they don't play a big enough role in their local politics. And I don't mean just in the sense of voting. Like there's some brothers out here that could run for public office, but they don't do it. You got the brother, I can't think of his name right now, but he lives in Greensboro, North Carolina, had never been in politics at all. And he just decided one day, because of, the way local government was coming at, average everyday citizens, on that gun control tip. So he decided to run for lieutenant governor and actually won. Had never been in politics before, but, and when you look at something like that, you think to yourself, why aren't there more black men running for public office? There's plenty of black women running for public office and winning, winning. Like you look at, not even black women, just minorities. You look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who has absolutely no business in Congress, but she obviously got there because she probably didn't really have any real competition, because brothers have just checked out when it comes to politics. If you look at Congress and you look at everybody that's in Congress, very rarely will you find guys that are in our age bracket. Yeah. But if you look at other groups of people, if you look at, other non-black, people, you'll see guys in our age bracket in Congress. And that's one thing that definitely needs to change.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out Abdul Jones. Shout out. He says, love the crypto talk. Definitely. We're going to be incorporating a lot a lot more of that lately. Shout out to American Negro. You see he's encouraging you to hit the like button, support the channel, support the stream. Shout out to American Negro. Do you think shoot, I had a question at the top of my head and I lost that bad boy. That question is gone. That question is gone. It'll come back. I had another follow-up question in terms of the politics, and that bad boy just vacated. It got inceptioned out of my brain. But as far as the on the political, I gotta just come up with another one. On the political end, what are you thinking is going to be coming with 40? I'll go with that. I call him 46. What do you think coming down the pipeline with 46? What you think brothers should be on the lookout for with 46?
It's not gonna be anything surprising. It's only gonna be surprising to people who think that 46 is a progressive or a liberal. He's not. You're just gonna
make the case on that. Why is he not a liberal or a progressive?
Because he's never been one. In his entire political career, he's never been that ever. Like, he may pander, he may pay some lip service, but he is an elder statesman. He is a typical Washington swamp thing, so he's gonna do the things that every other. You're just gonna get more of the Obama administration. You're gonna get more of it's the same thing if Obama was in office. It's the same thing if George Bush Jr. was in office. It's the same thing if Bill Clinton was in office. You're gonna get. He's gonna go to war with somebody. He's gonna start a war with somebody. He's definitely gonna raise taxes, not just on people that make a certain amount of money. He's gonna raise it across the board. He's not gonna do as much as everybody thinks he's gonna do for the lower class and the working class. And he's gonna do everything in his power to make sure his buddies on Wall Street make the profits they're supposed to make. So typical politics, the same type of politics that we had right before 45.
Well, the perception out there is that the Democrats are the ones looking out for the little guy. I've been trying to figure out, how is that even out there, and how is it that Republicans? It's almost like Republicans, they just let a lot slide. They let Democrats who got their agenda, their strategy to get votes from the little guy, but not doing that much for it. But not doing that much for him. But so let's talk about how is it that Republicans even let that happen? Are they not just strategizing properly? When Biden got elected, and I brought this up on my show before, when Biden got elected, people was more or less celebrating and crying in the street because they felt like racism was defeated and now the little guy has a chance. But Democrats are, historically the ones that are I'm sure, as you would say, they're the real racist. They're the ones that really don't give a damn about the little guy. How is it that Republicans even allow that perception to get out there so bad to where people can be crying in the street when the Republicans get out of office because racism was defeated, but they're the real racists over there? Like, how did that even happen?
That switch happened with Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yeah, I know that part, but Republicans haven't done nothing to counter the argument. That's what I'm getting at. They still got people in that mindset.
Well, the reason why they haven't done anything to counter it is because prior to recently, for the most part, Republicans haven't really needed the black vote. They haven't needed the black vote. And the reason why is because when say you go back to Ronald Reagan, and this is part of the reason why they praise Ronald Reagan so much. When Ronald Reagan was in office, the white middle class was doing extremely well, like extremely well. This is why you'll notice today that a lot of conservatives will compare Trump to Reagan. And the reason why is because I think the perception is that Ronald Reagan wasn't just for the super rich. He was for the middle class. But see, the only problem is by the time you get to 2016, there really isn't a middle class. Middle class is almost non-existent. So when you look at Trump and you look at what he was doing, he was actually targeting that demographic, which went from being middle class to being kind of lower class and you know, poverty level. That's why if you notice now, it seems like there's an entire movement of people that have become Republican or following the Republicans that they call the deplorables. This is basically white folks that have been disenfranchised. And most people haven't paid attention. Like, this is the first time in this country that white folks have really been, you know, in this modern age, have been disenfranchised to this level. You could almost argue that they kind of feeling the same thing that black folks felt, you know, in the freaking 80s with Ronald Reagan. So now you have these white folks that are in this position. And so you have a bunch of Republicans that are old school Republicans that pretty much their target demographic was upper middle class. Their target demographic was upper class. Their target demographic was never really the lower end working class folks. So you got to realize these Republicans, they don't even understand their base right now. They haven't even noticed that their base has switched. This is the reason why they've been operating the way they've been operating. And this is the reason why, even though 45 is no longer in office, he's still gathering a freaking movement. He still has a movement right now that's continuing to grow. And he's been out of office, you know what, not even a month.
Right.
And, you know, there are Republicans that already raised, I think one group of Republicans raised like $30 million for him to run in 2024. And then you had another Republican super PAC that raised a bunch of money for him to run.
Wait, forgive my ignorance. You can actually do that?
What's that?
You said they raised this money for Trump to run in 2024.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that. I thought when you got elected, you got a chance to run after those 4 years. But if you lose, then I assumed you was done. But so he can actually come back and run again.
No, he can run again.
I didn't know that. But he only stayed 4 years that time.
If he only had four, like you can only do 2 limits, 8 years. Yeah. But if you don't do them back to back, you can run again.
In my mind, all this time, I thought that it had to be back to back. I didn't even think about that somebody could run, do 4 years, lose, take 4 years off, take 8 years off, come back and be president again. That never occurred to me.
That doesn't really happen because most of the time, you know, guys that, you know, run for president,
they don't want that shit.
Up in the age. So they try to get them 8 years, you know, back to back because they're up in age. Usually by the time they get, you know, finished with the first 4, they're close to retiring anyway. Yeah. So, you know, they you know, kind of drag across the finish line on that because that's a stressful job. Like, that's a tremendously stress. If you go back and look at Barack Obama's hair to begin and then look at it at the end, you're like, man,
Yeah, he went from looking like a young man who could still play basketball and everything. He looking like he dying. That presidency killed him.
Yeah, he looked like Moses after he came from Mount Sinai.
Yeah. Gino Richardson in the building says, "Yeah, I got the architect of the Manosphere on here. Salute, absolutely, absolutely." Zero says the Dems have welfare. You can't counter free stuff. Yeah, definitely truth in that one. Definitely truth in that one. But I still feel like Republicans just lay down on so much stuff and just let the Democrats just have it. Let the Democrats depict them as. Go ahead.
You got to realize also you got a bunch of rhinos in office, which are just Republican in name only. They pretty much have the same agenda as, a bunch of the Democrats. So if the Democrats are doing something that behind the scenes the Republicans don't really have a problem with, they're going to make it appear that they're opposed to it, but they're really going to lay down when they do what they do. Right on.
Yeah, it's a lot of that in politics. That's what I've been noticing, that it's a lot of lip service who get paid to certain things, certain causes. We're against this, we're against that, but they could very well have opportunity to do it and vote it down or vote it in, but somehow it end up not happening. So that just tells me that it's a lot of political lip service to get votes. So yeah, you summed that up good. It's a lot of them are Republicans by name. That's a good one. That's good. SKC says 46 killed Keystone Pipeline, tells those that lost jobs to get into solar industry. However, China makes 90% of solar products. Imported oil will grow. Shout out to SKC in the building. You ain't been around here too much lately, SKC. What's going on? What's up with that? But shout out to SKC. I haven't heard that laugh on the panel in a while. Gino Richardson back in the building says Grover Cleveland was president twice out of sequence. Didn't know that. He was 22nd and 24th president. Hell, Obama couldn't run. So let me read it. Obama could run again if he wanted. No, he couldn't. Now, Obama did 2 terms.
Yeah, he did 2 terms.
Yeah, Obama is a rapper on Obama. Zero in the building. He says, "Let's drop Bedard down for not knowing politics 101." Dude, I knew that you get 2 terms. It just was a foreign concept that they didn't have to be consecutive. Hey. I've never heard of that, but I did understand you get 2 terms. Cut it out.
Tell Gino Obama didn't run again, but he started his 3rd term.
You talking about Biden?
Yep.
Oh man. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Chief Rocket in the building with the super sticker. Appreciate that. Zero trying to roast me up.
Yeah. Zero chain, man.
Yeah, he be clowning. He be definitely clowning. But let's talk about this now. One thing that I heard you say, and I think this was part of the reason why you got out of the whole discussion about talking about women. I remember you was on Kendra D's panel.
Mm-hmm.
And you had said something. I meant to clip it because it was kind of profound when it came to you was talking about how some of these guys you use an analogy, and hopefully when I started you will remember, and you remember the full context of it. You used an analogy. You said that a lot of these guys will, be talking like they use a peanut butter and jelly analogy. Like a lot of y'all talk like y'all got a life supply of peanut butter. And somebody show up with some jelly, and then it's still every reason in the world, every problem in the world possible. And you just like, do you want a sandwich or not, nigga? Like that's basically what you said, and that was an analogy of how you describe some people in this space when it comes to talking about women in the scorched earth way that they do. I think that kind of summed it up. Hopefully that sparked your memory of the conversation that you was talking about. But speak Speak on that for a minute.
Yeah, it's when your rhetoric becomes your religion.
Okay.
Where basically you fight a cause for so long that it's no longer about achieving the goal that you began the cause for anyway. The cause becomes the entire mission. So instead of so let's say you have a goal and you're fighting because you're trying to accomplish the goal, but it stops being about the goal, and the goal is just the fight. You've just become addicted to the fight. So my thing is like when I see guys that are talking about, these women, like I use an example. One of the brothers, he always talks about Myra from
Family Matters. Yeah.
right? And I use that analogy because, in his mind, Myra is the good girl. She's not the strag. She's she's the one that's wife material, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, you got guys up here, they're complaining about certain types of chicks. My question is, what's going to happen when you meet Myra? Are you even going to be able to really accept her as that? Or are you going to be so paranoid from the rhetoric that you're looking for problems that aren't even there? You feel what I'm saying? That's kind of where the peanut butter analogy comes from. I'll tell you another analogy. Sometimes these dudes, they're walking around with a Virginia ham under their arm complaining because they don't have no bread. You feel me? In other words, you really have what you need to fix the problem, but you're looking for something else to complain about. You feel what I'm saying? Because right now at this point, you've had so many dudes that have come through these spaces that have given advice on women. They've given advice on dating. They've given advice on relationships, not as much. You kind of have a little bit of a deficiency in the relationship advice or the advice for dudes that are actually married or willing to be married. But you've had more information, come through these spaces on dealing with women than anything else.
Yeah.
And you still have guys that haven't figured it out. Like, at the end of the day, it's a simple solution. If you can't find a woman, if you're looking for a woman and you can't find a decent woman, you're gonna have to explore other options. See, I think guys like messing with the ratchet women. I think they like messing with the women because it's easier to deal with them. Not deal with them, but easier to get with them. You know what I'm saying? So, I just got to the point where I got tired of addressing it. I got tired of talking about it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. And then on top of that, I had a lot of guys that would come to my channel just for the purpose of listening to me go in on some chicks. And it's like, okay, you come and listen when I go in on the chicks and I say everything that the chicks need to do. But then when I flip it and say what the guys need to do, you get mad at me. So I'm like, I just stopped really going into that and stopped talking about that because I really don't want that type of audience. I want an audience that's a little more solution based. That's a little more about, okay, if you give cats a solution that's worked for you, they'll actually try to apply it. Instead of cats that's really just looking for you to pander to whatever rhetoric that's become their religion.
Yeah, that's one thing that I noticed, and maybe you've experienced this too. It was a guy I was emailing with, and I mean, dude, he was a 29-year-old virgin. me and him was exchanging some emails with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And his interpretation of these conversations that he hear in this space was reasons why he shouldn't even bother. I was like, shouldn't even bother with what? I shouldn't even bother even dealing with women. I'm like, no, you hearing this wrong. If you thinking,
see, that's the double-edged sword.
Yeah,
with the rhetoric. Like some of us, we've already experienced a certain degree of, a certain amount of life. So somebody like me, I've already went through the relationship long-term thing. I've already went through the child support thing. I've already went through being married and getting divorced. So when I hear guys talking and speaking the rhetoric, I can distinguish between a guy that's in pain because he got done wrong by a woman, or a guy that just has an agenda because he's upset about experiences that he may not have been able to experience. You know what I'm saying? So I can distinguish. But for a guy that is, 20 years old, that's coming to the manosphere, or a guy that's, whatever age, that hasn't been in a long-term relationship, that hasn't, that hasn't had sex, that hasn't dealt with women on a certain level, when they hear it, that's what they hear. They hear, don't waste your time dealing with them at all. Just go be a MGTOW monk. And for some people, that's cool. For some people, that's cool. Like, for instance, you look at somebody like BGS. If BGS, says he's a MGTOW monk, I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. If I became a MGTOW monk, or you became a MGTOW monk,
yeah,
gonna make sense. But when you have a guy that's never really dealt with women or experienced women, or they've only dealt with a couple of women or a handful of women and they were raggedy, it's like, I don't think you should necessarily be a MGTOW monk, because you haven't really, you haven't really dealt with them enough to understand what you're dealing with. You may have just came across a couple of raggedy broads. You know what I'm saying? But guys, they listen to the rhetoric, and they just believe wholeheartedly that every single, like, they believe it's mission impossible.
Yeah.
You're not going to find a woman that got, some sense, or they're looking for this perfect woman that don't exist.
But no, but how much of that do you think that's just the facade? Really is they don't want to leave the nest, so to speak. So they use all of these different reasons as just their excuse to not even get out there and try. They don't want to take training wheels off. That's what I'm hearing from them.
Well, that's a portion. It's not everybody, but that is a portion. That is a portion of them. Like, it's really hard to distinguish when it comes to that, because when you're listening to a guy going in red pill raging, unless you know his personal life, you really can't tell where the anger is coming from. You really can't tell. You can't tell if it's because he's making excuses, and never really tried, or if it's because, the girl he was crushing on, smashed his homeboy, you know what I'm saying? Or it's because some dude married a chick early and she divorced him and took a bunch of his money. So until you really know the full story, it's kind of hard to, to say, okay, this dude is tripping for no reason, or this dude is tripping because it is. So until you know the whole story, and the problem is when guys come here, they don't always tell the whole story.
Right on. Let me see. We got, I thought I saw J3. Michael Ross in the building. What's going on? Shout out to you. Appreciate the super chat. J3 in the building. He said, thank you, Bernard, for having Angry Man, aka DJ Val Bundy, on today. He's one of the founding members of this space, but rarely gets his credit. Oh, we definitely give Angry Man his credit, props, and respect over here. I see people getting timed out. Okay, this dude might need to get blocked. This the timeout's going crazy. Let me see what he doing. He said, I don't care what two joggers have to say. Joggers. The hell? All right. Just time him out. I ain't saw nothing damaging, but he just all right. He's just like he ain't saying shit saying stuff that don't make no damn sense. See, this is what I'm seeing. Like in this space, yeah, we will talk about the effects of feminism on society, men's rights or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the cats? And some of them, they try to use all that as a cover for whatever it is they're not trying to do. Like the person that I referenced, that I talked about, he had mentioned Donovan Sharp as one of the people that he listened to as that give him the ammunition to not even get out there and go try with women. And I'm like, Donovan Sharp is full of solution and instruction on what to do and how to deal with it. And how, but let's
that's what's so like, for him to even say that lets you know there's a disconnect, because Donovan Sharp has a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's I don't know, man. I feel like there is a deficiency in just the modern structure of manhood.
Mm-hmm.
It like we're dealing with a problem that, you know, the Manosphere has known for quite a while, with, you know, all of these dudes that's being raised in households without fathers. But I don't think we fully grasp the depths of that problem. Like, I don't think we fully grasp it, because you have so many dudes that don't really want to do anything that is involved in traditional manhood. And they've taken it to a level to where it's like they don't want to do anything that even remotely resembles manhood. The only thing they'll do when it comes to manhood is they'll go to school and get a degree and they'll get a job. But the only reason they do that is because if they don't do it, they're going to be homeless. But everything else that we consider manhood and masculinity, they just run from it. They don't want to learn how to defend themselves, you know, learn how to be more athletic and fight in a controlled environment so they can protect themselves. They don't want to, you know, God forbid, don't say nothing about having no type of, you know, aspirations to be a married man. Oh my God, you get cursed out. And definitely don't say anything about having any children. You know, you got guys that's like, yo, I'm never having children. I'm like, wow, like, so it's just going, your legacy just going to end with you, huh? It's just the end of, you know, that's just the end of your life.
Well, I'm okay with dudes who genuinely don't want kids, just don't have no damn kids. I'm okay with that. I ain't in the business of trying to push somebody to do something that they genuinely.
Now, I agree with that, because people that don't want to have kids will make bad parents. But
yeah,
the only problem is that type of ideology cannot be the majority of us.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We can't have, you know, 75% of the black male population on some, I ain't having no kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't have that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And especially if people who got a good head on their shoulders are saying that, and then it's the reckless Negroes out there just going around serial and
and that's the show I did the other day. I said, do you have any idea? Because it's mostly the intelligent, educated, careered black men that are not having children or having only one child.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we got idiocracy going on with, Pookie and them having 20 kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what are we doing? We're only replenishing the hood. We're not replenishing the elite, the intelligent, like the promising black people. We're not reproducing those. We're only reproducing the knuckleheads.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, listen, I'm not in the business of just telling dudes, hey, go out there and get you a woman and put some babies in her right away. Like, no, that ain't that ain't what I'm selling. But when I look at a lot of these discussions, and I see black men like yourself, like so many others, they trying to rally the troops. They trying to rally the troops, trying to get black men to do the things that we need to do. And when I look at, sort of, Ramil is a perfect example of this. An intelligent brother like Ramil, he's always talking about the things that black men need to do at every level, in business and in ownership, all of that. Ramil is always talking about that, but at the same time, he's like, no families, no kids, and that's cool. That's cool for him. But if intelligent brothers like him are never ending up, intelligent, industrious brothers like him are never ending up with families, it ends up as a situation where, I want the best way to replicate yourself is through your kids, through your sons. Ramil trying to rally the troops. Okay, trying to rally a bunch of men that was raised without fathers, raised without fathers that taught them the right thing. So it ends up in a situation where you're trying to rally men that got off to such a bad start. But if the best of us aren't making families and growing them up, building them up from the start, it's like it's going to be a deficiency. It's going to be hard to get the men to do what it is that we need the men to do.
Well, it's a common problem amongst black people. We constantly expect irresponsible people to do responsible things. You know what I'm saying? So we're all about preaching to folks that's already grown and already developed, and we're ignoring the fact that they're missing key development in their childhood. And my thing is this: what I say to brothers that because I know there are brothers that ain't never gonna have children, they have no desire to have children. I just don't think that the majority of us should operate that way. And at the very least, if you're a brother that does not want to have children, for God's sake, at least teach somebody something. Don't let all of your intellect, your intelligence, your know-how, don't let it die with you. You know what I'm saying? Teach somebody. Teach a nephew or somebody. Do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, because these Negroes need to be taught something. Like, you feel me? Like, you got a bunch of little dudes running around here right now, and nobody wants to teach them anything or take any time with them. And I'm like, man, look, somebody teach these little Negroes something before they rob me in the next 30 years.
Yeah, one of the underrated aspects of building is the people that you build. So yeah, that's where a lot of the problems come in. ARC in the building says 100% agree with AM. Young men who haven't really experienced any real adversity regarding their social interactions with women shouldn't be listening to older men who have experienced nothing but poor relationships with women.
Facts.
Well said, ARC. Shout out to Alan Roger Curry on that one. Yes, but now some people hear this and they in their mind they're saying, they're like, okay, Bernard and Angry Man is telling young brothers to go run in, eyes closed, into a bunch of problems. They just sending young men through a wood chipper. That's what some people are hearing, and I'm not that person that says you got to go through it so you can know. No, I mean, you can Well, go ahead and speak on that. Are we sending them through a wood chipper saying they need to get the harsh experience? But what are you saying?
Well, that's the problem. It goes back to this same thing with dudes having selective hearing and hearing what they want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I put it to you like this. I use the hang gliding analogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say getting in a relationship with a woman or even marrying a woman, you know what I'm saying? It's like hang gliding, right? First of all, if you're going to do it, number one, there is a risk that could go very badly. You know, you basically have a freaking kite that you're going to take off running and jump off of a cliff and hope that kite will carry you so that you can glide through the air and land safely. So you're taking a risk regardless. But if you're going to do that, you're supposed to do that with, with the knowledge and information and proper equipment so that you can mitigate the risk of it. That's if you want to do it.
Right.
Whenever I talk about getting into a relationship and or a long term or getting married, I'm sitting here giving dudes the information they need to lower that risk as much as possible. But they think I'm telling them to just take off running and jump off the cliff and flap their arms and hope they evolve into a creature that can fly before they hit the ground. That's not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I would never tell a dude just to talk to any chick or dedicate himself to any chick. That's foolish. That's crazy. I keep telling dudes, like, if you're a guy who wants, but see, the first problem is the guy has to be honest with himself about what he really wants. You see what I'm saying? If he's sitting up here saying that he doesn't mind being single, he doesn't mind being a MGTOW monk, he doesn't mind being a confirmed bachelor, but he really secretly wants to be a married man, that's not going to go too well for him. So the first thing he has to do is be honest with himself. And it's the same in the reverse. If you're a dude that think you should be married just because that's what society says, but really you're happy being single. You're happy living life the way you're living it. The first step is you got to be honest with yourself. You got to decide which do I want? Do I want to be the traditional guy that gets into a long-term relationship, or do I want to be a bachelor and just live my life the way I live it? Now, once you figure that out, if you decide to be a bachelor, that's cool. You ain't got too much to worry about. You ain't got no real headaches. But if you decide that you want to be a married dude or you want to be in a long-term relationship, well, now you got to do your due diligence, because now you have to pick a woman that's not going to ruin your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is hard. But I tell dudes, it's just like if you own the company. If you own the company and you freaking want to hire employees, there's a chance you might hire some employees that's going to steal from your company, or they might, vandalize your company, or they might do something goofy in your company. How do you avoid that? By vetting them, by putting them through a process so that you can find out what they're about. You feel me? Just like in a freaking, first of all, these dudes, they don't do no job interview with these chicks. And they certainly don't put them on no probationary period. These dudes, they go out here, and just because the chick got a fat booty and big breasts and a pretty face, they done wifed her up the next day. And by wifed up, I mean they went from just meeting the chick and smashing the chick to an instant relationship. And then they wonder why 3 months later, the chick do something crazy. And it's like, I can't believe she did this. Well, you should believe it because you don't know her. You don't know who the hell she is. You haven't been around her long enough to know what she's about. And what type of, and see, most guys, they don't want to go through all of that. We live in this age of instant gratification. We live in this age of microwave dinners, and you know, instead of having to wait for your favorite TV show to come on, and if you don't watch it at that time, you miss it, and you're gonna have to wait forever for a refund. I mean, a rerun. We live in an age where you can just go right to your TV show that you want to watch. So we live in an instant gratification age. So everybody wants the same instant gratification when it comes to a relationship. And the problem is too much work involved in a relationship. So most dudes, they try to look for the shortcuts for the relationships. And that's where the problems begin right there.
Right on. All right, Mr. Right in the building with the super chat. Shout out to you. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. Red Sings the Blues is in the building. Says the prophecy of idiocracy is that smart people were too dumb to have kids to build a better society, while dumb people were smart to procreate. Well, I don't know about that smart to procreate, but that's something that dumb people just gonna do. They gonna have some damn sex. They gonna figure out a way.
They don't do nothing else. They gonna have sex.
Yeah, I wouldn't put smart on that, but yeah, that's, you don't got to be that smart to figure that one out. To get some sex popping off. All right, let's talk about in a relationship with a woman. I ain't even talking about marriage. I ain't even touching nothing state sanctioned today. I ain't yeah.
Let me address something.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me address something. Falcon Blizzak said, but wasn't AM the man complaining a few years back? Keyword being a few years back. You know what else I used to do? I used to pee in a diaper, but now I don't have that issue. I'm potty trained now. See, the key word is a few years back I was complaining. So now that I'm not complaining, apparently I fixed that problem. See, that dude right there is a prime example of what I talk about in this space. They think that everybody is stuck in one space and they never grow from that space.
I'll say it like this. There's a video, this is an older video. This is back before I ever started going live.
Mm-hmm.
It was a video that I made, and I re-listened to it, and I took it down, not because I just said something just out the way bad, but my view and my position have evolved on that issue to where I'm like, nah, I can't really.
You don't agree?
I disagree with some shit that I said 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's yeah.
Good. That means that there's some growth. If you go back and look at something something you wrote or something that you said in a video or a recording, 5 years ago, and you still feel the exact same way, you should be concerned about that.
well, that goes both ways, because sometimes it's some things that you could have been dead set right. Like 5 years ago, I felt this way, and everything that I've lived in the last 5 years have confirmed what I said. So therefore, right what I said there 5 years ago, that I can still take that to the bank. But this thing that I said about this particular subject 5 years ago, I can't take that one to the bank, because I saw this, I learned this, I read this, I experienced this thing. So now that particular thing, I can't take that one to the bank no more. So I got to grow and evolve on that one. And that's where it's at for me. Go ahead.
But the thing that was right has been time tested now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can stick with that.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing, the one thing that's constant is change. That's constant. So as you grow, you're not gonna, your views are gonna change. Like there's some views that I had in 2016 that I think very differently about. So and so you're gonna have people that watched me back then and said, "But Angry Man said in 2016," and then it'd be like, "But dude, it's 2021." You know what I'm saying? It's 2021. So.
But I actually saw. I remember one time you played an old clip. It may have been one of your first videos. This was an old one. It was 2015, and everything that you was spitting right there, it was like, man, I could have been listening to Angry Man right now because you was spitting some fire that held true. So you don't have to. If somebody change on everything, that means you was completely dead wrong 5 years ago. So you shouldn't be changing on everything. But yeah, you should grow on some stuff, because I definitely have changed my view. And maybe I don't know, maybe I was more I don't want to say red pill raging, but everybody have a moment where they may take too hard of a stance on something, or they may take too light of a stance on something, and then find out later that I gotta put the hammer down on this particular subject. So we all change, we all evolve, we all grow. But Coach Ali's Corner in the building says, facts, Angry Man. A lot of dudes, not all, in this space are not telling that part of their red pill story. They gambled with their Jimmy and they lost. Now they want to fight the crooked system that they put themselves in. Shout out to Coach Ali's Corner. Shout out to Coach Ali's Corner. Ramil in the building says, pump and dump responsible is best option for Black men. Use surrogacy for kids for full legal control. I'm all about that, getting full legal control. A lot of people know my story, my battle for custody and all of that. So yeah, I'm all about men doing what they got to do, however they do it, however you end up in whatever situation you're in. Yeah, do it. If you got kids, try to get as much control as possible. But do understand that, yeah, it's tough out here in these days. Zero in the building says, whoa, AM, Pete, and
yeah, man. Look, I'm not proud of it, bro. It is what it is, man. Had a bladder problem, man. You're messing with me, Zero.
Shout out to Zero. Shout out to Ramil. Shout out to Coach Ali. Man, Zero be killing me, man. Speaking of fatherhood, this is one thing that I have a hard, because I haven't exactly experienced this. My kids came from a marriage. It was a fight post marriage to get the custody situation the way that I like. It was a brief moment where I don't want to get too far into it, but it slowly turned into a situation where she had them on paper, but I had them in reality. I was all right with that. I just didn't want to be paying, didn't want to be taking care of the kids and paying her money. So it was a twisted situation like that I had to get worked out. That took forever. So I know the struggle with brothers trying to get the custody situation right. But I always experienced it from the perspective of a father who was married. One thing that I have a hard time relating to is the dudes who just done got a woman pregnant. That's something I ain't never just got a chick pregnant. Like my kids, they were planned and talked about, and we made provisions for it. Like, okay, we about this time to let's have another one. It was like that. But for the dudes who just then got somebody pregnant, like, what advice do you got for that? As this was let's just say it's a relationship, they don't even live together yet. Like, what advice you got for that one? Because that one, I'm at a loss. I don't know what the hell to tell the dude on that one.
I honestly don't know, because that's a terrifying situation,
and that is scary.
I would imagine that's a horrible, because with me, me and my children's mother, we never got married. Because my father actually advised against it, and I actually took his advice, and I'm glad I did. But in hindsight, that helped me. But me and her, we were together for I say 2 years before my first son came along. And we were living together, so I don't know. I wouldn't. The only thing I could tell dudes is, you know, like I've said in shows before, man, you got to learn how to skeet responsibly, man. You can't just be you can't just be out here just shooting up the club with random chicks. Like, cause look, back in the day, like I was really careful. I can honestly say that I was really careful. Like, because I didn't want to be one of those dudes that got drugged through child support court. I didn't want to be one of those dudes that got crazy pregnant, even though later on, which is one of the things I found out, is that you really don't know a chick. Like, you really don't know how far a chick will take it until you're no longer in a relationship with her and you're attached to her because of children. You know, so when I was with her, I didn't believe we weren't going to be together. I thought we were going to be together for the long haul. So when it ended, it was cool at first until I got into a new relationship. So when I got into a new relationship, that's when all the drama started. So keep in mind, after it was over, it wasn't no, I want child support, da 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 da. It was, I go pick up my kids, I buy what they need, everything's copacetic. The moment I get in a relationship with a new chick, child support order. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's revenge.
You was taking care of your kids just fine, but then she find out you getting some regular pussy. Now apparently the state got to get involved.
Now we got to get the man involved. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for brothers, because like, you know, even with that situation, my child support situation was not as bad as most people's situations. Like throughout the situation, I've been able to have conversations with her and, you know, try to appeal to her and get her to close the case off of the strength that, look, I'm taking care of my children. We don't have to have a third party involved in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
So she would close the case, and then, you know, one day she'd get mad again and open the case again. You know, so I didn't have it as bad as most guys have it. I can honestly say that. So for the guys that just get a chick pregnant that they've never lived with and never been in a relationship with, I don't know what to tell them, because they're dealing with an unknown situation and they don't have the rapport or the relationship to really do any negotiating. So, you know, the only thing I can tell dudes in situations like that is to avoid it. You know, and it's to avoid it altogether, man. Like, be more careful with your Johnson. You feel me?
Man. That's one that I mean that came across my desk. So that was getting talked about on my show, and I had a panel, and that came up a while ago, and I was listening to what people were saying, and I was like, it is no advice in that situation. It's not.
There's nothing like, that's like giving somebody advice on a failed bungee jump. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because it's the same situation, man. You know, having sex with a woman is like bungee jumping. You taking a risk, and yeah, it might be exciting, but if that rubber break, that's your ass.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do with that situation, man. It's horrible. And see, this is why I tell dudes, and you know, I've had these conversations before on the stream. I say, look, man, if you go and you have sex with a chick or whatever, and you use a condom, you feel what I'm saying? Don't throw that condom away in that chick's house.
Mm-hmm.
Take it with you. You feel me? Or flush it. You flush it down, hope it go down the toilet. Like, do not put that condom in the wastebasket or none of that. And never use a condom that she gives you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I tell dudes that, because like dudes think that they ain't that conniving, but you will be amazed, bro.
Yeah. I've It's happened to me twice where I, reached into my pants pocket or reached into the back pocket and found a used condom in my back pocket. I'm like, whoa, what the
You like me? I'm a tie. I
yeah.
just wait later.
Put it in your pocket. And I didn't put a pair of pants on. I'm like, man, this condom done been through the washing machine and everything. I'm like, man, but hey, that's how you know you doing what you're supposed to do. You finding used condoms in your back pocket. You handling your business. Hold on, real quick. Shout out to Gino Richards, and he sent a super chat that I lost, but I had to go go through the analytics to find it. He says when a man, oh shit, no, I gotta blow this up. That's small. That ain't. Hold on, 1 minute. Make that a little bigger. Where we at? Hold on. There it is. All right. When a man, no, I still can't see it. When a man's rights are depleted, he becomes a mercenary, meaning he has nothing to fight for and checks out physically or mentally. This happened in ancient Rome around the time of Augustus. Thank you for that super chat, Gino Richardson. Appreciate it. All right. You was about to jump in and say something. Well, before you say that, let me shout out Ray Clemens in the building. He said, see, that's the problem I have with Ramil. Say that works for you. Be happy with what you want for your life. Do not push that off on brothers. Salute. Yeah, I hear what you're saying right there. Pump and dump philosophy is part of the problem of creating low value women. Harlot mongering. I've never seen that word. No, court a virgin with permission of her male family leader and marry her. Pair bonding ability will be the highest. Dude, what decade you live in? He said. Is he saying that that's possible today? Court a virgin with permission of her male family leader and marry her? I think you okay. Maybe I'm just not reading sarcasm properly, but he can't be in this decade thinking that's a thing.
Gino said he gonna find him a virgin, like for real. Like, look, my thing. Look, I don't. Everybody knows I don't agree with the pump and dump thing, and the only reason why I don't believe in the pump and dump thing is because, in my personal opinion, that's how dudes end up in the situation where they get a chick they don't really know pregnant. That's how it happens. You feel me? Because look, dudes did not just come up with the pump and dump concept. Cats been pumping and dumping. Like that's actually what dudes do. They not in a relationship.
Gaming is a huge part of it. Shout out to Black Widow Strikes. Gaming is a huge part of the issue. I am a boomer. When I was young, you were going to go outside and play and socialize, and there were girls outside. Yes, we in different times. We in different times with that one, definitely. I remember one time it was a power outage in my neighborhood, and my kids went outside and started playing, and then after like an hour, the power was out for like 3 or 4 hours, and it was so many kids in the neighborhood that we didn't know existed. Like, it was crazy. It was like y'all been living just down the street all that time. We ain't never seen them. It was wild. But yeah, kids do not leave the damn house nowadays. Nope. Chief Rocker in the building. He says the issue that is seldomly spoken about in this sector of YouTube. Shout out to Better Bachelor, aka the Joker, are the births that come as a result of a committed relationship where your woman discontinued her birth control without telling her man. Yeah, I mean, well, no, actually, I think that do get talked about, but I mean,
that's trifling. That's trifling. That's real trifling. But like, look, there's a lot of guys that have had horrible experiences with women.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, horrible. It's more common because of the age we live in. But I don't believe. I'm not black pill on relationships yet. I don't believe that it's completely hopeless. I don't.
Right on. Let's talk about that fatherhood piece a little more. Like, what are would you say the important things men need to do as far as I'm getting out of that whole little you done got a chick pregnant thing. I'm talking about is you raising your kids, you know, you and your woman, y'all together, even if y'all not together. What's the most important thing men need to do as far as their sons? As far as their sons, what's the most important things would you say that they need to do to, as far as, you know, making sure that they doing what need to be done for their sons?
In which scenario? In the scenario where their sons are in the house with them, or
in the house with them? Let's start with that one. Let's start with that one. Yeah.
The best thing that they can do, the best thing that black men can do for their sons is, even if they work a lot, to try to spend as much time as possible with their sons in the first 7 years of their life. Because that's when they develop, that's pretty much when they develop their personality and who they're going to be. So they got to spend as much time as they can with them in the first 7 years. The moment your child is born, you know, especially if you already got everything together, you know, add your children to your credit cards as authorized users, so you can start building their credit while they're small. You know what I'm saying? And just, you know, play more of a heavier role. Don't let your wife or your woman, you know, you got to pay attention to what she's doing around them. Because women nowadays, they coddle boys, they do all types of goofy stuff that really hinders their growth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't really control how they're gonna turn out. Once they start getting to a certain age and start smelling themselves, you're gonna really see what they're about. But I would say the first 7 years are really important. Extremely important.
Yeah, now that's different, because a lot of people normally take the approach, the route. They say that the man is more important once they get older. Is more important the boys be with their father. You're one of the first ones I said that spoke about it from there early, and I agree, because I'm hands on all the way with the kids. You know, even when I was working a lot of hours, I came straight home. I like being, you know, home with the kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's equally important that, you know, when they're young, it's hard to get a lot of father-son time, because when they're little like that, their mama is always, you know, smothering them and all of that stuff. But that's usually the time when guys are not really, you know, heavily active, because they try to wait till the kid get a little older so they can play sports with them and wrestle with them and stuff like that. But them first 7 years are key to you know, a young man's development. Now, of course, when he gets older, he's gonna have to spend more time with you as well. You know, once he gets to adolescence age, that's when, you know, you kind of try to pull him away from his mother more, you know, and try to do stuff with him that's just, you know, male based.
Yeah. How do you manage that situation when y'all not together? You and the woman not together, you got kids, you got sons. How you manage that situation? What's the best ideal way to go about even trying to manage that? And why you think on that? With Mike Chenery in the building, said father need to be the example and teaches the sons to figure stuff out. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. Shout out to I see Ike in the building. Fantastic seeing people making it on in. Shout out to Ike. What up? What up? All right, go ahead on that one.
In that situation, they need to go to court and fight for custody. Because if that child does not live in the household with you, it's going to be virtually impossible to instill your values in that child.
Yeah.
Virtually impossible.
Yeah. See, I'm glad we agree on that, because like I hear a lot of people talking about like there's some way to be a father. I'm not saying that you're a bad father if your kids don't live with you, but you got a hand tied behind your back.
Yeah.
It's like you only got like 10-15% of the influence, but the outcome was 100% your fault if shit go wrong.
Yeah.
You're getting blamed. You're
Yeah.
getting blamed, but you only got like 10% of the influence. That's why I'm like, yeah.
If he grows up to become an NBA superstar, it was all because of his struggling, strong mother. But if he grows up to rob liquor stores, it's your fault. It's the daddy, it's the absent daddy's fault if he grow up to be a bum. So yeah, like the only way you could really have any effect, because the child is gonna identify with the parent it lives with in most cases, unless that parent is super abusive and the only relief the child gets is when you come and get them. But if that's not going on, the child is going to pretty much identify with the mother.
Right on. As far as business, that's one thing I do want to touch on. That's one area where black men we need more black male owned businesses. What is missing with that one? Like why brothers seem to not be getting the message about the importance of starting business and all of that. So like let's speak on that. What's the roadblock? What's the stumbling blocks? Because as far as people talk about white supremacy, racism, I don't see that stopping. I don't see that in the way, like our niggas would tell you. So what's the deal? What information is being missed on that one?
The biggest problem with black men starting businesses is there's really no incentive to do it. There's really no incentive to do it. And the reason why is because black men know when they start businesses, it depends on what type of business it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If it's a business where your target demographic is going to be black people, it's not really encouraging. Black people don't support black businesses. But if it's a business where your target demographic is going to be not only black people, but other groups of people, it's also discouraging, because you got to compete with the businesses that's owned by other groups of people. So I think that's part of it. The other part of it is black men are just used to working for other people. They're used to working for other people, and a lot of black men get shamed for trying to be entrepreneurs. So if it's hard to be an entrepreneur. You start out, when you start out, it's going to be tough to get the business off the ground, especially if you're not able to get a lot of startup capital. And so if you start a business from the ground up and you're pretty much fighting to get the business off the ground, you got people that'll be in a situation where if they've got a significant other, or it doesn't even have to be a significant other, it could be their mother or their sister, just any black woman in the vicinity is basically going to be like, you need to get a real job. So black men are constantly shamed for trying to start their own businesses, in addition to every other pitfall that comes with trying to start a business.
You still get that one from people, from family members starting you need to get a real job. They even acknowledge like do you still get that one?
Oh no, not anymore.
Not anymore.
I used to I used to back in the day. Back in the day when I used to try to start a business, I would get that.
Okay.
I don't get that anymore.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. What's your shout out to okay? Well, first before we go there, Kenneth Salter in the building. Peace and salute to you, and also shout out to Lucario in the building. Shout out to Mr. Lucario. I'm gonna do a review of Game King. I'm gonna do a formal review of that. Y'all definitely put a lot of hard work behind that. I like to see stuff like that. It was a very well done documentary. Going to do a formal review of it. So shout out to you and everybody who put that one together. Let's talk about the last thing before I open this bad boy up. Let's speak on just the overall black male image.
The black male image.
Yeah. Why you laugh on that one? Why you laugh on that one?
Because the black male image is the black male image.
Hold on, real quick, AM, before you say anything. Yeah, those people who obvious trolls. I highlighted what Fantastic said. Don't time them out. Hide them. If it's an obvious troll, get hide. Here, other than the fake Cynthia G, I let that one rock because that one kind of funny. But so let fake Cynthia G rock, but everybody else time them out immediately if they're an obvious troll. But go ahead. You laugh when I said the black male image. So go ahead. Let's speak on that one. I'm about to put the link in there.
Because the black male image is, what's the best way to put this without sounding messed up?
Uh-oh.
Black men are not in control of our image. We don't get to define our image. Society defines our image, specifically black women. So in mainstream media, whenever, there's a movie or a TV show, oftentimes it's a black woman writing the show. You look at Power, there's a black woman. You look at most of the shows, so whenever you watch a black show, one thing is going to be consistent about that show. Black women are going to be portrayed as being more intelligent, harder working, and stronger than black men. Black men are going to be vilified in some way, shape, or form. And if they're not vilified, they're going to be feminized. And you're never going to see a black show in this day and age. You're never going to see a black show without at least one homosexual man in it that's black. And they're going to show you, his entire lifestyle, including the intimate parts of it. So the black man is not even close to being in control of his image. Not even close to being in control of it. So it's unfortunate, but as long as somebody else is writing our image and defining our image, we're always going to be viewed a certain way by the overall society. I honestly believe this plays a role in like the police brutality situations, or the way other groups of people judge black men. Because if they're not really around black men, and the only examples that they have of black men is in these television shows, then they don't really understand black men, because these shows are not portraying us in the light of what we actually are. They're caricatures.
Mm-hmm. Anwar Dunbar says, Angry Man has been giving us valuable game in the business, investing, and money spaces. Absolutely. I was, like I said before, man, I was real glad when you started speaking on crypto. Need more even, I mean, we got a lot speaking on it, but you speaking on it, you putting your stamp of approval on it. I can't even talk. You putting your approval on it. That I know that got a lot of brothers to look into it, take it seriously. It's not all about Bitcoin. Well, make sure y'all looking at them smaller coins, because they growing and they bouncing and they fluctuating too. Make sure y'all looking at all of those. Man, damn, Angry Man, you got some serious trolls. Like, they hard at work. Like, man.
Yo, that's, you know what? I told you, man, they that is one person. That's not a bunch of trolls. That's one person.
So you telling me one individual, I think I done hit like 10 accounts.
Yeah.
What?
That's that dude. That's that dude that doxed me. That's who that is.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
that's who that is. That's everybody knows who that is.
Okay.
Because there's nobody else that stalks me that hard. There's nobody else that stalks me that hard. He doesn't even realize that that's actually a criminal offense in his state. But he's about to find out soon. So he can have fun. Have a ball, bro. Have a ball.
Yeah.
You might be going to jail soon.
Yeah, I wish you the best on that one. It ain't even funny no more. At first, it was just kind of funny that, okay, somebody made a couple accounts, but I done seen too many of them, and now if you stalking and doxing and all of that, that's yeah. Hope you get results on that one. Man, Monk Loogie in the building. He says, "Love the content. Salute Bernard and AM. Keep dropping the gems. Also, MGTOW is the way." What's your thoughts on that? When you say MGTOW is the way, I think the best way I'll explain that on my thoughts on it. I think MGTOW is a way. It may very well be it may be the right way for Monk Loogie. I think it's definitely a way that some people can go, but I don't go as far to say it's the way. But what's your thoughts on that?
It's necessary.
Yeah,
that it's necessary. It's a necessary thing,
because
there has to be some sort of punishment, some sort of response to the way women have been functioning. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it got to be something. You feel me? Well, yo, that Cynthia G photo looks like a blow up, dog.
That
just noticed.
I was about to hide it one day, but I was like, nah, this is just too funny, man. I'm gonna let
No, they wrong for that, bro.
It's like they had to have. It looked like they doctored it. I don't know. It do look like a doll.
It do. Especially when it was smaller. Like when I was looking at it in the chat room, it's like, yo, that looked like a blow-up doll. Oh my God.
Yeah. Says I recently went on a blind date with a black man. This man had the audacity to question my gender. He asked me if I was transgender. This man wanted to see my birth certificate, shaking my head. I'm done with black men. All right, thank you, fake Cynthia G. We appreciate it. we needed to know we needed to know all that.
Oh my God.
Man, that's too funny.
Yo,
that is
I totally imagine the messages that come from that account. Oh my God.
All right, John. The link in the chat, fellas. The link in the chat. Y'all can come on up. We ain't getting wild, wacky, and crazy. But y'all can come up with either questions or give your thoughts on the topics that's been expressed. We've talked about what do black men need to do to win in terms of finances. We talked about Bitcoin, crypto, and all of that. Politics. What do you think about forming our own party, so to speak? A lot of people say that. A lot of people touch on that. I've been divided on that because it's, but anyway, what's your thoughts on that, forming our own party? But just to recap what I was saying before you get into that, We've talked about how do black men win in terms of finances, politics, relationships with women, fatherhood, manhood, and image. Well, he didn't give no suggestions on how we win with the image thing. He just said it's doom and gloom with the image. But
yeah, we got to, before we can do anything with the image, black, DS1, he always say we gotta heal before we build, all of that. We can't fix the image until we actually fix black men.
Yeah. Yep.
You feel me? It's too many. Like, I mean, think about what just occurred in the chat room. That was a black man that was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we can't fix the image until we fix black men. Like, I'll say this: the image that they're portraying us as, that's not even our major problems.
Mm-hmm.
Our major problems is not the way we're being portrayed. Like, we have some problems, but it ain't that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that every brother is a down low brother. It ain't that we're a bunch of murderers and we're running around constantly sexually assaulting. It's not all of that. The problem with us is we got a bunch of mama's boys. We got black men that would rather bicker with each other than make money or start businesses. We got dudes that run from responsibility and masculinity. And I don't mean responsibility. See, that's the other thing they'll portray us as in movies and televisions, is that black men aren't responsible in reference to their women. Like, no, that's not the problem. The problem is black men are not responsible in reference to themselves. You feel what I'm saying? So we got a bunch of different issues that never really get showed. And you would think those issues would get showed by black women, but it just shows you black women don't really pay no attention to us. They don't really take the time to understand what's really going on with us. You feel what I'm saying? So everything that they put out there about us to make us look bad is just another rendition of Jim Crow and the rhetoric and propaganda that came from that. So before we can fix our image, we got to actually fix black men. You know what I'm saying? And definitely take back control of our image in mainstream media,
Right on. So let's talk about that, because you've been on the politics. You think black men need to start our own political party, so to speak?
We don't have the numbers for it.
What about starting it from the perspective of, we have essentially our party, essentially our agenda, and it's almost like it's just withheld. We're gonna vote if nobody is delivering nothing on our agenda that we got laid out. Then yeah, we're gonna start our party. We're gonna vote. We know it ain't gonna win, but we're just gonna vote this way and just do that until somebody say something that makes sense or do something that makes sense.
It's a little too late for it.
Why you say that?
The only reason why I say that is because of what we were just talking about earlier. With this agenda in the black community to not have any children. So if you have black men saying, I'm not going to have children, if you got all the intelligent black men saying they're not going to have children, well, they completely forgot about the fact that in addition to you not having children, black women are aborting children 1,000 per day. So you don't have a voting block, and the voting block is getting even smaller. Because if you were to start your own party, you're not going to get the support of black women. They're still going to vote Democrat. So it'll be black men, and we're the smallest block in the black community because black women outnumber us by like, I think what is like 3 or 4 million.
2 million last I heard. 2 million.
So we're the smaller group, and that doesn't even include the black men that are gonna follow whatever the black women do. So you're going to have black men that are going to vote Democrat just because they women or they mothers or they aunts or whoever are basically going to pressure them into voting Democrat. So right now we're becoming a smaller block than the Latin community. So it's going to get to the point where the Democrats or the Republicans, they don't even cater to us because they won't need our vote. They're just going to cater to the Latin community.
Whoa, what the hell kind of music he was listening to that? Goddamn, you sound you was having a good time. But I got the last part of what you said. Black Uru in the building. What's going on?
Hey Bernard, how you doing? How you and Angry Man doing? I've been enjoying your conversation.
Doing great.
Yeah, I particularly on the issue of black men starting a political party. I think I generally agree with Angry Man at a national level. I think the numbers are just too thin to directly affect elections going forward. But I do think in certain areas of the country, certainly where we have higher percentages of the population, and even if you make it as granular as maybe the county or the city or village level, I think maybe rather than viewing this as sort of a short term, how we're going to compete at the national level, maybe the approach should be, trying to take over some school districts, trying to take over some county offices, city offices, et cetera, and sort of build up towards possibly having more broader, greater influence at the national level. But yeah, I agree. Our sheer numbers just don't really give us much leverage nationally. I do, however, think that there is some value in our having a very loud and very vocal and visible protest vote, if for no other reason but to embarrass, especially the Democratic Party. I think there is some value there. And since we have not gotten from either party really much of anything, and maybe you can even argue that we might have even gotten more from the Republican Party, certain things than we might have expected, at least recently. I think it may be worth our being a protest vote to embarrass the Democratic Party, and I think in particular to embarrass black women, frankly.
Embarrass black women with a vote. That's an interesting way to put it.
Well, I'm just saying, create a dialogue about the issues that we discuss in this environment. We cannot necessarily affect policy given our numbers, but we can at least create a platform in which we make public the arguments that are expressed here, and put to light, the deformities and the deviance that has developed over the last few generations in regards to all this feminist gynocratic policy and procedure.
Right. Go ahead, AM. You can respond to what Black Uru said right there.
I agree with if you started a party and tried to affect some change at the local level, you might be able to get a grassroots, following, but eventually it wouldn't just be a party for black people. You would eventually have to get other people to join that party. Now, if you did it that way, you could possibly gain some, a larger voting block nationally. But, it's kind of like with businesses, most black people, if they try to start a business and they only want to target the black demographic, they're only going to grow but so big.
Fantastic in the building. What's going on, Fantastic?
Hey, what's going on, man? Shout out to AM in the building, man. What's going on?
Yeah,
what up?
Man. Listen, I'm gonna try to say this without pissing niggas off, but niggas have no understanding of politics or how this thing's gonna work. Angry Man, bro, like you said, man, This is not Alice in the Wonderland. This is not Harry Potter. This is not Lord of the Rings. This is reality, bro. We do not have enough of anything to talk about creating our own party. Again, Asians don't have their own party. And at the same time, they don't need one. People from Israel don't have their own party. At the same time, they don't need one. But the issue and problem that black people are going to have is that the people that you have at the top that are actually going to get the votes, they're already bought and paid for. LeBron James is bought and paid for. You're never going to out campaign whoever LeBron James is backing. Same thing with Jay-Z. That these nigga gods, you know what I'm saying, that the Democratic Party have bought and paid for, and they're going to put out before black people to control the vote. You're never going to be able to, even all the black men in the world are not going to be able to go against them and change the minds of enough black people for that to be effective. What's going to have to happen is you're going to have actual candidates. That's what's going to have to happen. That's the reality about this thing. And that's what I keep saying about this space that people don't understand. Well, you have a lot of men in this space that you're going to have men from this space or men that are sponsored with the mindset and definitely vetted for sure, 100% down for the shit from this space. That's going to have to be put out before the public and people elect them. That's the only way that the true masculine black man's mind frame is going to be displayed in this country, or for the world, that is. And like I'm saying, this, well, damn, how you gonna do that? Listen, bro, you have the perfect strategy if you really know how to do it and you see it. It don't matter about what you say. It don't matter about, you know, your past transgressions, so to speak, to a degree. Okay, you can't just be a you know what I'm saying, a complete and total degenerate out here. But just saying like, well, you guys are too brash, you're too harsh, all these other things. Listen, man, what you say is not important as the impact that it's going to have on the overall people. And two, you, like Angry Man said, you're going to have to get to the point of where you have black issues there, but that's not your only issue, because you're not going to have enough people that are not black or that's going to support a black only candidate. So when I was saying this, a couple, like, I don't know when it was, niggas tried to jump me because I was like, you're gonna have to get with white people and start, you know, what hell, I just found out y'all have what Manosphere Daily channel where they highlight the black manosphere and the regular manosphere. So just that mindset from a political standpoint, man, because this whole creating our own party thing, we don't generate enough money, we don't have enough numbers, and you need to be trying to build these candidates to actually run for office. That'll be your best and pretty much only bet at this point.
Facts. Facts. That's the entire reason why I said one of the biggest things black men need to do politically is they need to run for office locally. They got to start running for office. They got to start running for Congress. They got to start running for you know, in these Senate races, governor races, lieutenant governor, councilman. You know, we have a major deficiency in black men who represent the interests of black men in government. But like right now, black women are killing it. Like,
and you know when you got to start, Angry Man?
where?
You got to start when they're in high school.
Yeah.
You find some very young, charismatic, good-looking brothers, right? Who have that particular kind of mindset and interest in politics and leadership, and you fund them locally. We have a guy who is on our library board, 21 years old. 21 years old. So he's on the track to eventually becoming a state representative, then a state senator, then perhaps a lieutenant governor and beyond. So you have to find them very early in life and begin financially backing them and supporting them and socially backing them and supporting them.
Yeah,
so you had to find them very early.
Yeah, that's why I said, you know, oftentimes when we had these discussions on BGS's channel, they were talking about getting politicians and, you know, trying to, you know, put your money behind politicians. And I said, what you need to do is you need to raise some politicians. Like nobody really thinks about that. Like You got white folks, they're raising politicians. They're taking their children and young dudes, just like Black Uru said, and they're pushing them into politics with an agenda.
Yeah, Smooth in the building with a super chat. He says women won't care about dialogue. Shout out to Double M. Appreciate that super chat. Fatal Dose in the building. Go ahead, you got the floor, you got the mic. Real quick, is this actually Black Wolf Inc? I don't think I ever saw you on a panel. Is this real? That's you?
Nope.
Man, I don't know why somebody keep coming through here playing that damn song.
Some Negro trolling. He's definitely a knucklehead Negro.
All right, I'm trying to remove him from the studio. There we go. All right, he left. All right, go ahead, Fatal Dose, man.
Hey, how you doing, panel?
Doing good,
Morning.
doing good. What you got, man?
So I'm here listening, and I tend to agree with the earlier statement Angry Man made about brothers not being responsible, because that's something I've been vocal about recently. You know, a lot of brothers aren't taking accountability for their actions, right? You know, yeah, we know the child support system is unfair. We know the system is built against us. And even with that knowledge, brothers are still being reckless with their seed, running around, dumping it in every woman that they could get their hands on, and then coming back and complaining about that. So we're not going to be able to affect change in society until brothers begin to learn how to have some self-control, how to stop being selfish and think about the broader consequences of actions they take, because they're not only affecting their lives, they're affecting the life of a child that's being born as well. Yes, the system's is crooked. Yes, we know we could get caught up in some BS with a girl that we thought that was down with us, but we could minimize the risk, and brothers are not doing any risk assessment when it comes to the things they're doing. My bad, my dog just started. Hey, chill up.
We
I think his dog is disagreeing with him.
We don't act like we can hear you kicking that damn dog over there abusing that animal. We heard you kick it. Hey, AM, you said something about when it comes to local politics. You said Black women are killing it. I mean, I understand a lot of people talk about it like that. It probably do seem like that. Is it actual data on that? Like how many positions they actually hold, whether local, state, like all of that? Because some of it seemed like it's perception or sound like that it fits in line with that they the most educated stuff, which all the data show that they're not. So, but like, is it actual data on that to show like what they really, how many positions they actually hold?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I have not looked up the data.
Okay.
But I do know this. In Texas, what was it? Like 13 Black women became judges? It was like 13.
Yeah, it was more than that. It's crazy. They had a whole picture. It was like 20 some odd Black women that was judges, and I think it was in like Dallas or Houston, whatever district that was. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
and that was just last year.
And then I did a show where I actually was showing numerous. I was showing numerous Black female judges that were getting caught up in criminal activity. I was showing numerous state representatives that were Black women and Black women that were senators or congresswomen. They literally were trying to pass legislation that was like trying to get they were trying to pass legislation to control men's sperm and force them to get vasectomy.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
All of that. So like every time I look up, you know, all I know, maybe the brothers are not as vocal, but every time I look up, I'm always seeing Black women in key positions in freaking politics or in some sort of position of power. They're judges. They're freaking. Look at how much power Stacey Abrams got. And most people don't even pay no attention to that. You know what I'm saying? So like they're always in these key positions. Like if you go and you look at what's the brother's name that wrote Powernomics?
Claude Anderson, Dr. Claude Anderson.
If you go look at Dr. Claude Anderson's concept of the five-story building, right? You know, which is with group economics, the judicial system, politics, the judicial system, media, and education. Black women have a position in all of that. All of it, going all the way up. You feel what I'm saying? Black women have, they definitely practice group economics. They're definitely in politics. They're definitely in the judicial system. They're definitely in media, and they're definitely in education. So they're on every single floor. So it's like, yo, they have way more freaking power than us, flat out. And you know, when it comes to like the politics, when it comes to that, I mean, just go look at it. If you go look at some of these Black women that are politicians and look at their agendas, it's the goofiest thing you ever seen in your life. You be like, wait a minute, what? Your agenda is what? So, you know, and then rarely you'll very rarely see brothers that are, you know, in our age bracket that's actually in politics, that's actually judges. You know what I'm saying? You just don't see it. I'm gonna go do the numbers on it though, but you just don't see it.
Yeah, and another big piece of it too is once a Black woman is pretty much in there, bro, she's in there for life.
Yeah.
I mean, she just look at fucking James Brown wig, Maxine Waters, and the lady down here in Texas now that's trying to promote this crazy ass gun law bill, pretty much
Jackson Lee.
Yeah. And then now, I don't think people even realize, man, out of this whole, you know, Black Lives Matter BS, the new chick that got elected in the Milwaukee area, people, like, I mean, a Black woman, all she has to do is be Black. She doesn't have to have any policy. She doesn't have to have any track record. She doesn't have any of these things. And she can just put her name on the ballot. And this lady was a first time, whatever, man. This lady that's from the Milwaukee area, and now she's a congressman. Angry Man is exactly right, bro. These women get caught up in so many types of scandal and money laundering. I remember down in Jacksonville, another one of these ladies that had been a congressperson for however long, years upon years upon years, come to find out this lady done laundered hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years, you know, and they finally caught up with her and they put her ass in jail. So, yeah, man, but that's the issue and problem that we have. So the only way to counter it is going to be actual candidates, man. And you're gonna have to support these dudes wholeheartedly, not with your finances and with, you know, networking. And that's the biggest thing here, man. I know, in this space we see it. Niggas have their own personal things and whatnot, what have you. But the more we know what we need to do, if we can't put aside this personal bullshit and beef, bro, for the ones that actually about some shit, the piece of shit niggas, fuck them. We not worried about them. But the motherfuckers that actually got some value to give, bro, if we can't get to the point of where we can put aside, you know, differences or whatnot, what have you, or at least just, you know, hey, you go your way, I go mine. We don't motherfucking beef with each other for the sake of the overall, you know, comeuppance of the Black man, bro. It's never gonna be able to get that shit on a national level, because as the crazy shit you see here, like, you know, doxing and all this other shit, nigga, you get into these national campaigns, nigga, hey, that's nothing. So you done already been tested anyway. You don't see it. You done been doxed, nigga. Hey, welcome to the club. You know what I mean? You gonna see what it is, what it's like if and when you put up here as one of these candidates for, you know, Congress or senator, whatnot, or governor or mayor, all these different things. But I definitely know for a fact that this space has a lot of dudes here, man. And like I said, we got a whole bunch of young cats in here too, man. We got 20-year-old, even 17-year-old cats listening to us, bro. So like Black Guru said when he was up here, if you see a young man that's in this space, man, and he got a good head on his shoulders, and that's somebody we can start trying kind of grooming, or making sure that they're knowledgeable in politics, finances, policy, foreign policy, all these different things and whatnot. A big thing that's going to be happening too, man, coming up, even though it didn't happen here, that was supposed to be the thing. This man's rights thing is huge. So if you're going to be a man candidate, you know what I'm saying, fighting for men's rights, eventually here, especially if this debt bubble pops as it's projected to, definitely within this administration, this term, men are gonna have to right the ship. All women gonna sit back and do is, we didn't do it, we didn't do nothing, we didn't do this, we didn't do that, and it's gonna have to be men, coming in to step in and pretty much fix everything that's right. So we're definitely on the right track, man. But it's just getting the people and putting them where they need to be.
All right, Trey, is that actually you?
Yeah, what's going on, man? No Rick Ashley over here.
Okay, cool. Had to make sure, and I'm about to get this one out the way real quick because I'm like 95% sure this is not Minister Jap. Say something.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I knew that one wouldn't. No. I was like, I'm 90% sure that ain't Jap.
Hey, Bernard, you can just click over the 3 buttons, man, and see what channel it actually is. It's probably something the same. It's same. 9 times out of 10, it's the same person. So just click over the 3 buttons, and it'll tell you what channel it actually is.
I don't see that. I clicked over you talking about those 3 dots in the right hand corner?
When it's in the back, when you're in the back there, back chat, click over the 3 buttons, and it'll bring up at the very top what channel it actually is. So like you click on my name or whoever's name, you'll see if it's really that person.
Oh, okay. Got you. Cool. Man, tomorrow on the building with a super chat, they said they care so much about politics, they don't bother covering it until an election. It's not an election. No, but we talking about it. So there's that. But then they claim they are never voting again. Somebody on the panel said they're not voting again. Did anybody say that? Make it make sense. Yeah, I don't know who claimed to not who said they're not voting again.
You might be talking about somebody else.
Yeah. Okay, I know if that was directed towards anyone specific on the panel. Wasn't sure, but okay, all right. But either way it goes, shout out to Manna tomorrow. Appreciate the super chat. Charles Faulkner in the building. He says it's about currently 6-1 black women to black men in politics. Man, send me the links on that one. Zero in the building says it's almost like we're figuring out what I've been saying for the past year now. Feminism equals power. Vaginocracy equals not power.
Oh my God, yo, Zero's level of sarcasm is like ultra instinct level sarcasm, bro.
All right. Tricky Trini. Okay, that's a funny name. All right. Just wait until Kamala Harris replaces Biden is on like Donkey Kong for black men. Not a good thing. Yeah, that's an interesting one right there. If you do replace him. A sour of seed says, you brothers are powerful. With you brothers powers combined, you all can have major influence in life and in our future generations. I appreciate you all. I'm grateful to arrive here on my journey. Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate that. Nick Penn in the building. Shout out to Nick Penn. He says the Black Excellence Fund. Shout out to you. Appreciate the super chat. I think I may have missed somebody. At one point, okay, I see Man of Tomorrow saying Angry Man. At one point, did you say that you huh?
Here we go. Why don't you just come up here and have the discussion with me? Negroes love to wait till I get on somebody else's channel as a guest and then want to start fucking trolling me, man. Why y'all don't ever come to my channel with that BS? Like, real talk. Like, come to my channel with that goofiness. Talking about, oh, niggas don't cover politics. And I've talked about politics plenty of times, bro. Maybe you don't watch my show every day. Like, cut that shit out, bro. Y'all niggas do this shit seasonally. You feel me? One season, you cool with me. The next season, you got a problem with me. Damn.
Nurajim says, yeah, up in here. Yeah, up here in New York City, you had many black women that work for the NYC Department of Corrections getting caught sleeping with prisoners and losing it all. All right. Man of Tomorrow just joined. Well, hold on, wait. Before we even get into that, I haven't even formally passed the mic to Trey. Yeah, go ahead, Trey. You got it.
Yeah,
you got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just want to talk about a couple things.
Got to start being honest.
Hold on, go ahead. We're gonna let Trey speak. Trey haven't said nothing yet, so go ahead, Trey.
Hey, just want to speak a couple things real quick on what you were saying about the judges and things like that and black male candidates. It was Houston, fantastic, where there's 18 female judges. And that's where I vote in Houston. My registration is still in Houston, not San Antonio. So I went back there to vote this year. Man, you had black women on the ballot with their nicknames. Not their real name, but their nicknames on the actual ballot in Houston.
That ain't surprising.
I about lost my. I mean, not even just regular nicknames, but stripper nicknames.
I was just about to say, was it something like Trixie or something like
that? Candy, champagne.
I tried to whip my phone out to take a picture, but they was eyeing me in there because of all these COVID restrictions. But and then the crazy part is, man, about black men out here, man, we got the black men out here in politics. You've seen what happened to him. The dude that ran up against Maxine, man, ain't no way in the world Maxine beat that dude, man. If y'all believe these numbers are real. And then what's the name? John James, my man out there in Michigan that ran out there in Michigan. Now your way, man,
yeah, that was my guy. That was my guy, man. He was winning.
We all know
John James had won. And then when all those late votes or early votes or whatever votes came in, he got edged out by a little bit. So yeah, I was pissed about that one.
Yeah, but see, John James is an honorable dude, so he wasn't gonna fight it, like what's going on at the national level. But these brothers are out here. But we've got to come out of our shell and get out of this hive mentality that the B-Dub has, because their hive mentality is going against the black agenda, is going against the American agenda. And the key thing for black men, black, you got to jump on board, like Fantastic said, with the white man, the white movement, the white masculinity movement. Okay. If not, masculinity is getting crushed out of here. But yeah, I'll mute up.
Yeah.
All right. Peaceful Polly in the building says, AM, the hate is strong, shaking my head. All right, let's keep it clean, keep it respectful. Go ahead, man. Right. Tomorrow, you got the floor, you got the mic.
Okay, let me clear up this for everybody on the panel. These people are not serious about politics on the panel. Fantastic. What party are you part of?
I'm not a part of a party.
All right, again. Okay. Trade MBD. What party are you part of?
I'm not a party, bro. I'm not a party kind of
guy.
Okay.
All right, man. You guys have a really nice day. Like I said, these women are running things because they're part of an actual political party. These guys are not. Me. All right. It doesn't matter. Well, wait. Who just said that?
What party?
This Fatal Dose. I'm a registered.
Hold on, wait. Hold on. Time out. Okay, Fatal Dose, registered Republican. Go ahead, Angry Man.
Man of Tomorrow. What party are you a member of?
I'm a progressive, and I'm part of the Democratic Party in Colorado, and it works well for the Denver metro area.
You're a progressive and a Democrat?
Yes, sir. That's
like
right,
Margaret
sir.
Sanger. Woodrow Wilson.
Hold on, wait.
Well, guess what?
Hey,
first of all, I don't expect to agree with you on most issues because you're progressive and a Democrat. So
I'm anti-nigga as well. So yeah.
My question is this. I'm pretty sure you're not going to agree with me either. But my question is this. So you come on to the panel and you tell everybody, you ask everybody if they're serious or not. So apparently you must be way more serious than us.
Hell yeah, motherfucker. I am.
So you way more serious than us. Okay, so you got
Where are you? Where are you organizing in your party that you're part of?
Let them ask the question.
And I finish what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. I am serious. More serious.
You got up here, you beat your chest, And okay, now you had your dick measuring contest. My question is, how does that help anybody?
Hey, the Denver metro area is doing fine. Again, since you're a street conservative, where are you organizing in your party? Where are you organizing the party? Where you at?
That is not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. What I asked
ask
you,
your question again, and then I'll answer it, and then you're gonna answer my more important question.
What I asked you is, how does that help anybody? What you're doing right now?
I'm not trying to team up with unserious people, especially the ones who claim to be conservative at the end of the day.
Then why
hell no.
Why is your...
Because I came up here to show you that you're full of shit. That's why I came up here. That's why I came up here. That's why I came up here.
Where is the niggas you talking about?
But let me real quick. Let me have it real quick.
Motherfuckers are not serious.
Well, no. Hold on.
Y'all are not organizing for a political party, and you have a domestic terrorist on the panel.
Wow.
All right, man. Hey, man, I'm out, dog. I'm out, dog. When y'all start organizing, when y'all prove that y'all organizing for a political party.
There's some ignorant ass monkey talking about niggas is acting like monkeys, and then he immediately acts like a monkey. That make sense. You talking about make sense? MOT? So everybody, MOT is organizing in his state. That's the only reason he got up here, because he's actually doing that. So he gets up here to fucking beat his chest about it, so that he can say, well, I'm organizing in my state. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? And your black ass ain't doing shit, nigga. You ain't making no fucking change. And the next time you want some smoke with me, bring your black ass to my channel and stop being a fucking coward. Don't come over here where you know I don't got no fucking control over the panel to talk your stupid shit, nigga. You fucking coward. Bring your black ass to the street conservative while I'm talking about this and catch this smoke, so I can really dive into what you doing and how you organizing, because I guarantee your black ass ain't doing shit. You probably went to one fucking meeting.
Hey, I'll just say real quick, y'all. But we know that progressivism is lined exactly with the black female. And, we got Cori Bush. The one politician he was talking about was out of St. Louis. Fantastic. You got Cori Bush and this, old titty tattoo, congresswoman, new member of the squad. Now, women like that are caping for these criminals that's up in the St. Louis jail that are breaking the windows out, throwing things. And all she's talking about is policy change for, the criminal. Well, at the same time. Yeah, well, same time, she's out there encouraging this violence and marching in the street. And let's remember, she's from the same district where David Dorn got killed at, but isn't speaking up on that. And then we've got these same type of men that come over here and claim to be that they down for the black man, the nigga from the future. I ain't even gonna say his name. Claim they for the black man, but scared to go out there and do any real stuff, because you can say all this stuff and then hide behind I'm a black progressive, when they don't even know what progressivism is. It shows you how dumb niggas are in this space, and that you just got to separate from them. These fools have no clue that progressivism is based off of the shit that Adolf Hitler, Madison Grant, Woodrow Wilson, Margaret Sanger, all these white folks that were true eugenists pushed. You got to realize that's all this cat is.
And that's the main reason why I laughed when this nigga got up here talking about he's more serious about politics and he's a black man that's a progressive. That's a dumbass nigga is what that is.
Well, let me say this, man. Hey, MOT has a right to his motherfucking opinion, but bro, I am definitely completely and totally serious. I actually have ambitions of getting into politics, being that I'm doing what I'm doing right now. And I really can't even talk about it because you niggas will be the main ones that's, out here, taking my legs from under before I get started. So, I mean, even if I am really serious about it and getting into politics, if you feel like I'm serious because I'm not agreeing with you, that, you know what I'm saying, that kind of reiterates my point. You can put aside the differences, man, if it's for the sake overall. Well, MOT, I'm glad you came back. MOT, I'm extremely serious about politics, bro. Like I'm saying, I mean, I may not agree with you politically on a lot of different things, but I actually plan on running for congressional or higher level of politics at some point at some point in time, man. So again,
wait, hold on. Let me ask MOT this question before we go forward. Yeah. Okay. You saying that somebody doesn't care about politics because if they're not organizing in their party. Now, the white guy.
I have to clear up something real quick. The Angry Man said, "Angry Man, if you want to debate, you will go to the Prophet of Thought series and set up their debate. I'm not gonna come to your house, and you're not coming to my house. You go to a neutral ground and actually do that. If the bite is barker than the bite is harder than the bark."
Do not go to ignorant nigga shows to do ignorant nigga shit.
That's what you are, ignorant nigga. So how does this work?
You and every other country, Mississippi nigga that look like you.
All right, MOT. I muted you for a second, MOT. I want to ask you.
Black man as a progressive, you a dumb motherfucker.
Okay, who is turned down the debate now? Who is turned down the debate?
Dumb motherfucker.
Man, you a disgrace to Mississippi cats, bro. For real, you a disgrace to Mississippi cats.
You a dumb. You been a dumb motherfucker.
Who is yelling?
You been
MOT.
Who is yelling? Who is yelling?
I'm yelling. Here we come with Canadian tactics.
Who is yelling?
Here we come with this.
Okay, if you want to debate, you show up at TPOT and bring all your bullshit with you.
All right. This is an important question.
I didn't come over here to have a conversation with your stupid ass.
Of course you didn't.
Bye, nigga.
All right.
I'm not going anywhere. All right. Go ahead, Bernard. Go ahead, Bernard.
Hold on. What'd you say?
Go ahead, Bernard.
AM, what'd you say? Hold on. What'd you say, AM?
No, I said tell that nigga to talk to somebody else. Because I ain't have no conversation with that dumbass nigga.
All right.
I will go to your political track record and roast your motherfucking ass.
MOT.
Sure you will.
MOT. This is an important question because you're saying people don't care about politics because they're not organizing in their party. Okay.
Correct.
The white guy. Listen. Let me ask this question. The white guy that stayed next door to me, he's a liberal. Had a Bernie Sanders side in his yard. I talked to him. He voted for Biden. We talk politics all the time. He just one man. He got an opinion and a vote, and he really care about the issues. He ain't organized shit. I can't tell that man he don't care about politics just because he's not at some organizing committee or leading some effort to do something. He's an American with an opinion and a vote, and he know what he voted for, who he voted for, and why. And he cares about politics. So why are you saying somebody don't care about politics just because they can't
quickly answer your question?
Okay,
go ahead. Quickly answer your question since you think that's just a smart question. Because his interest is already being served in the actual Congress. We're talking about black men who don't have a voice. Now, if you talk to a black man who don't have a voice and his interest is not being served, like I said, we got all these conservatives because their masculinity is so shallow that they needed a criminal to verify that for them. And now that criminal is out of the White House, they have to go back to the old Republican politics. I don't see y'all over there. I don't see y'all organizing.
How is nigga from the future is on some strategy shit,
First of all, explain to me how he's a criminal. I'll wait.
That guy is going to be up for some criminal charges. And dude, you haven't actually covered anything.
Man, come on, nigga from the future. Come on, something different than strategy.
Here we go.
Wait. Here we go. Wait a minute. This is the intelligent dude. But every time
Marjorie Taylor Greene. How many panels you had on Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Every time.
How many panels you had on Marjorie Taylor Greene? Why you keep using the word swiper?
Now.
Why you keep using the word swiper when the election wasn't swiped?
Who's yelling now? Who's yelling now?
Yo, you gotta be you know what, man? It's a disgrace, man, to my dad, my grandfather, and all my peoples from Mississippi. With dudes like this.
I'm gonna ask the question.
All right, go ahead. AM got it. All right. Hold on, MOT. Let AM ask the question.
How is he a criminal?
Yes, he been engaged in criminal activity.
What criminal activity?
the actually paying off of the porn star, he's actually going to jail for
Bro,
that, by
that's
the
real.
way.
Come on, bro.
Because it's actually lawyer did. What are you talking
Come on,
about?
nigga from the future.
What are you talking about?
Real stuff, nigga from
Hey,
the future.
man, I don't talk to domestic terrorists. And if you
Real
say
stuff,
something
nigga from the
again,
future.
sir, I'm fucking turn your ass into the FBI, my motherfucking
All right,
self.
all right.
Say something
AM
else,
got
Trey.
it. AM got it. AM
Hey,
got
you
it.
you don't want that smoke.
Go ahead,
You
AM.
don't
Hold on,
want that smoke, nigga. No, hold up. Hold on.
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Let AM man go. AM go.
Very simple question. Very simple question. So what
Yes.
you're telling me is that you had your boy actually
What boy?
What the fuck is his name? Client the fucking FBI lawyer.
Klein Smith.
Klein Smith, thank you. So you had Klein Smith get FISA warrants to actually eavesdrop on Donald Trump. You on his campaign. You actually had the FBI, the CIA, and the DOJ invest millions of taxpayer money into investigating him. And as much as they hate Donald Trump,
did you just change the basis of the argument that I just asked?
Wait a second.
Why did you change the conversation to something else?
See?
Why did you just change the conversation to something else?
Hold on. Let him answer this question. Let him ask this question, MOT.
Do you see what he's doing? Let's go back to it again. So what
We're not going back to anything.
What you mean
the
to tell
guy
me?
is a criminal.
MOT. You gotta let him ask the question, MOT. You gotta
I don't
let him
have to let him
question.
answer the question if he's trying to
gotta
change the
get this
basis of
drag
the
out of
argument.
here, Bernard. You gotta get this drag out of here. This is drag talk.
MOT. You can't just derail it. Like let him go. Let him answer.
Okay.
Was that confirmation of the loss? Because if
Sir,
you really
that has nothing.
Solid
Okay.
point, if you really had
Okay, well, can I talk? Just let me know. Let me know.
You wouldn't be interrupted.
Just let me know when I can talk.
I will.
You wouldn't be interrupted.
Okay, all right.
If you really had a solid argument. So what you mean to tell me is that you have a president that was so much of a criminal that they've tried to impeach him twice, but from an FBI investigation, they didn't come up with a single solitary thing to actually convict him on. As much as this country, as much as politicians can't stand his ass, you mean to tell me that after all that investigating, they still didn't convict him of something? You're telling me that as much as they can't stand him, that they just decided, oh, well, we got all this evidence that he's a criminal, but we not gonna convict him. Why they ain't convicted him yet? MOT?
All right. So here's the thing. The actual thing that the actual lawyer went to jail for, if you actually read it, person number one is actual Donald Trump. So that actually means that the guy is going to go to jail for the same stuff that he actually ordered the lawyer to pay for. That's why I called him a criminal, because that's pretty obvious that that's going to happen. And if you paid attention to any type of court case, that's what that's about.
MOT, all of the bullshit aside, all of the
bullshit aside. Okay.
All the bullshit aside, we're having a conversation, bro. Yeah. Which lawyer are you talking about? Which case are you talking about?
We're talking about the one with the I think it was Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels?
Actual cancer. Yeah, that actual case.
Bruh, so out of this dude became
president. It's true.
Wait a minute. Listen.
It's 100%.
Please, God, listen to what I'm saying, bro.
You're not answering the question. You just sat there and asked the question.
Wait a minute.
That is something you actually going to jail for.
You mean to tell me Donald Trump became president and was president for 4 years and supposed to be one of the most corrupt motherfuckers on earth, and the only thing you can bring to me is Stormy Daniels, bruh?
Because that's what he's actually convicted of as of this moment.
It
is. And that case happened after he became president.
Man,
and
these clowns sit around watching CNN 24/7.
Shut the fuck up.
No,
Shut
fuck you,
up,
man. Meet me somewhere. Meet me somewhere, nigga.
Right now,
you want that cloud pussy cloud smoke? Bring it, man. Bring it. Hey, hold up. Let me
All
rock
right.
for a second.
Okay,
Let me
okay,
rock
okay.
for a
No,
second.
no, no, no,
Hey,
no, no,
let me
no,
rock
no.
for a
I'm
second,
not about to
Bernard.
let
Mute
this
that
dude go
nigga.
on with his troll shit.
Mute that
Like,
nigga. No, ain't nobody trolling, but
hey,
nigga,
hey,
you fucking with
hey,
nigga, you
hey,
fucking with
hey,
some
hey,
stupid
hey,
shit, bro. For real.
hey,
You
no,
want
I'm
to
not. I
see
played the
you
video.
want to see
You're
who's
going to
real.
jail
Let's see
now.
it. You want
Going
to
to
see who's
jail
real? Let's
now.
see it. I'm just
Like
saying,
I
bro.
said. Like I
Hey,
said
I'm just saying,
before.
fuck jail,
Like I
nigga. You
said
know what I'm
before.
saying?
All right,
No,
all right.
bitch.
Hey, stop,
Okay,
stop.
okay,
No,
okay.
nigga, you want to talk
Let
real
me
shit?
Something.
let
Let's
me
get
answer
some
the
real
question.
shit, nigga.
Hold on.
Let
No,
me
let's get
answer
into
the
some real
question.
shit,
Trey,
bitch.
Trey,
Oh, here we
No.
go. Here we go with all this shit.
MOT,
You can only do this
hold
shit
on,
on
hold
the
on. If y'all gonna have a conversation, whatever that conversation about, we're gonna do it one at a time, even though it ain't really making no sense. You cute.
Pleasure out of just arguing
Hey,
with niggas, man.
Yeah, MOT. What do Trump being a criminal? What that got to do with whether or not what an angry man or anybody else on the panel has been saying has been right or wrong? What does whether or not Trump illegally had sex with Stormy Daniels got to do with whether or not the points that are being made is right or wrong?
The point is, these people on the panel are not serious. They're not part of a party. They know they're not being recognized. All they got to do is talk about black women and LGBT, and everybody's shit just goes crazy. What you have to understand is these people are not serious. Street guys are not conservatives. They are liberals.
Nigga, post your
Without
location.
order,
Nigga, post your
without order.
location, bitch.
Trey,
Hey,
we ain't
man.
doing that.
Post
We
your
ain't doing that.
location.
Trey, we ain't. Trey, we ain't.
Here we go. Here we
not
go.
doing that. We're not doing that. Okay.
Criminals want to crim. All right, man. So this is what we got, right?
First of all, MOT. First of all, bro, you've been in this space for a long time, and you took that little shot at me. I eat that. But here's the thing, bro.
You took a shot at me, and I'll eat that. You know I still love you, man.
Yeah,
we just disagree on shit.
Look, I explained.
Fuck love, nigga. Post your location and see what love about,
What
nigga.
is this dude talking about?
Trey, chill with that.
Look, MOT, I explained to everybody the conservative thing. Okay, I explained it to everybody very simply. It's not that I just decided today, okay, I'm gonna be a conservative because of Donald Trump. No, you feel what I'm saying? When I actually I constantly hear everybody talking about neoliberal this, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that, right? So I'm looking up all of the different categories that everybody call themselves in, and I look up conservative, I'm like, oh, that's actually what I'm on. So that's the only reason why I put that up there, bro. And as far as being a street conservative, you know as well as I do. You feel me? You've been up here for a minute. I'm not your regular street knucklehead Negro running around here acting like I ain't got no damn sense. Now, as far as like being serious about politics, no, I am not currently with no group in this city organizing nothing. If I decide to really get into politics, I'm not going to organize anything. I'm going to run for office if I try. I'm not going to try to be organizing nobody to do nothing because like I was saying earlier in this discussion, the only way brothers are really going to affect some type of change is they're going to have to get in these positions, not just try to rally and hope that they can get this white person or this black woman or whoever. You're going to have to get a black man in there that's actually about the black male agenda.
Hey, and let me say this real quick, and to your point, MOT. Listen, as much as you may have a disliking for the former president, the strategy he used was quite ingenious.
His party.
Well,
his party.
Okay, well, it's really not his party because he's not a conservative. Remember, he wasn't a conservative. He was just he was the Republican Party literally went against him. And they were pretty much forced to fucking nominate him and accept his nomination because the people picked him over them. So they had no choice. So again, this is what I'm telling you. If you're such a strong of a candidate, you don't have to have a political affiliation whatsoever. Donald Trump wasn't even thought about as a politician. He wasn't a politician even when he entered to the thing. Everybody thought it was a joke, remember? To the point of where President Barack Obama joked about it and all these other things. They thought he had no chance, and yet still this man became the president of the United States of America. So
Donald Trump isn't a conservative. Donald Trump is a nationalist populist. He's not a conservative.
Just like all these black male populists around here, but they're not part of a party. They're not organized. Because see, look, we are on one side organized. We don't have conservatives that we can organize with. We don't have that. And if we did have that, we could be able to organize for something on both sides with the people.
But that's a half truth though, man.
Okay.
You
All right,
know,
well, you explain.
you know as well as I do. You know as well as I do. In this space, you will find quite a few black male conservatives. The problem is you got so many black male knuckleheads running around here. So here's the thing. What's really annoying to me about this is the whole concept of, okay, so if you're a black conservative, that means you're completely separate from the whole conservative movement. How is that even possible?
Again, if you're a conservative, there is a party for you.
Okay.
You have to organize within that party. Right now, we don't have black men who are stepping up. Right now, the Republican Party is in disarray. Disarray. Now is the time for anybody who is a conservative to step in. Mostly in the South, I would like for it to happen, because it's definitely going to happen out West or definitely on the East Coast. But right now, it's the time for black men to be coming together within this party to take shit over. But the only thing we have is trolling and not knowing the history of stuff. Because once you start going into the history, there's no way you can pass yourself off as a conservative. This is why no one talks about history, to protect themselves from the actual thing.
By that same token, I can say that if you know the history of politics, there's no way a black man can call himself a Democrat.
There's no way a black man can call himself a progressive if they know history.
Yeah.
The Ku Klux Klan is progressivism.
It's
That's
not
progressivism. The biggest example.
It was conservatism.
Another
It was
example of
conservatism. It was
Hey, let me talk for a minute, nigga. Another example of conservatism. Another example of conservatism was the Jim Crow South. Excuse me, not progressivism. Progressivism was Jim Crow.
Plenty anti-black.
That was progressivism.
It was not
redlining. It was progressivism.
It was conservative.
But see, this is where history comes in, because you want somebody to come up here. Here's where history comes in. Now, when you come up here and bump the panel, and all you do is yell and scream and come in here and troll, and then go against every man on the panel that's trying to do something positive, and then you start talking history. It makes no sense.
Yeah, in history, most of your Southern Democrats were your slave owners. That's a fact. What are you talking about?
Listen, it's a different party than it is now, and that's why we disagree, because you don't know history. You cite the history when it's convenient, but you don't keep the history actually together when it's not convenient.
Wait. Well, let me say this real quick.
All the way up to LBJ, historically, Democrats have been against every single measure that was in favor of anything that benefited black people. That's historic. That's historical. That can be verified.
Yeah. And furthermore, let's just jump away from the history and just get to currently. Currently, progressivism stands for everything that's against the black man. So even when you leave the history out of it, man, progressivism now is women's rights, LGBT rights, and everything but man rights, especially black man rights.
Okay. Let's stop right there. So are you saying, Mr. Fantastic, that there is no trans, LGBT, or actual feminism on the right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that it's not. It's
That's
not
exactly
on the right.
What you're saying.
Wait, no, it's not. Wait. Hold on. You're trying to put words in my mouth. What I'm telling you is that is not a cornerstone of their policy or a cornerstone of their campaigning. They don't campaign to them directly and first. That is the first and at the top. The president, listen, the president of the United States says America's #1 problem is trans rights. That's what the president said, bro. 0.004. Wait. Let me give you the context. 0.004% of the population. That is the #1 thing that we need to be concerned with as American citizens, bro.
Okay.
I'll take it a step further, Fantastic.
No. Let me rebut that. Let me rebut that.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me rebut it. Mr. Fantastic, how did the LGBT get their rights?
You mean by who or what? What are you saying?
Yeah.
Obama started it?
No. Let me finish the question.
You saying the money?
Let me finish the question.
Okay, my bad.
What government institution gave the LGBT their rights? What government institution did that?
I don't know.
Bro,
In
their
like
rights are guaranteed under the Constitution.
Man.
Well, no, let me,
LGBT rights guaranteed under the Constitution, just like everybody else's.
Yeah, he said the institution.
Hold on. It's called the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court had a Supreme Court decision that gave them their equal.
For the,
no, it wasn't last year. It was way before. It was during the Obama administration. With a 5-4 decision.
Hold on.
Democratic progressive.
Wait. Listen,
wait. Hold on. That's not the end of it. Right now, we have a 7-2 conservative split Supreme Court that could get rid of those rights just as easily as they got them. If they're not doing anything about that.
But hold on,
why would they get rid of American rights?
Wait,
here we go.
Hold on. Wait. The Supreme Court can only hear or challenge or turn over cases that are being heard, bro. If nobody's making the challenges, and now you have them actually eliminating cases that was from the last regime, you can't make the Supreme Court just challenge something on its own. It has to be brought up by somebody else.
You are 100% correct, Fantastic. And before they actually got their rights, there was a lot of court cases that's been challenged to the Supreme Court. And right now, there are no cases that's being challenged to the Supreme Court. When they have a 7-2 split, so that way they can take their rights away.
Why are we even talking about
listen to this.
Wait a minute. All right. Hold on.
Let me shut that down.
Hold on. AM was trying to jump in. Go ahead, AM.
Okay, MOT. First of all, Supreme Court did not give the LGBT their rights.
All right, man.
That's not what the Supreme Court does.
Okay.
The LGBT rights were already theirs because of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, bro. Mm-hmm. What happened was they took it to the Supreme Court because they were fighting for the rights. The only thing that the Supreme Court can do is look at the situation and determine whether it's constitutional or not. Yeah. They already had the rights. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The Supreme Court just had to verify that it was unconstitutional to not give them those rights. Okay, the Supreme Court don't write no legislation. They don't do that.
Yes, they did. Citizens United, they did write legislation to say that.
That's not the Supreme Court.
That's Congress, man.
The Supreme Court gave corporate America the ability to run the actual that's the thing. Okay. Let me let y'all get back to y'all conversation and let me get off of here because you don't know the history of what you're talking about.
The Supreme Court does
you guys have a right.
Inflation, bro.
Listen. Oh, here we go.
Kind of does. The Supreme Court
again.
It's called. They literally have a term for it. I think it's called legislation.
And they can overturn the right, like, dude. The actual, I think, the prop that went to actual California for the actual quote unquote rights that was challenged up to the Supreme Court. They could have said no. They could have said no, but they didn't. And so you just can't say the LGBT, feminism, and all this stuff is on the left because at the end of the day, they're on the right. By virtue of them not challenging it.
But hold on again, you're being disingenuous. Listen.
I'm not.
Well, let me answer. Listen, bro, you're being disingenuous because at the end of the day, regardless of their political affiliation, they still have to interpret the law. Exactly. The law doesn't have a political affiliation, bro. So what they were saying, the only thing they're challenging is whether it's the constitutionality or the lawfulness of it, man. Yeah. And what you were saying too, I don't know if you, I know you didn't forget, but you maybe not, you weren't referring to that was last year, bro. They passed the LGBT being actually classified or recognized in the affirmative action. That's what I was referring to last year, MOT, when they actually heard at the Supreme Court level, and they passed that because they said yes, that has to be included for affirmative action reasoning. So that's what I was talking. That's what I thought you were referring to when you said Supreme Court. But if you're talking before that, cool, fine, and dandy. But at the same time, man, you can't be disingenuous and say, "Oh, it's whatever the split is conservatively." At the end of the day, regardless of their ideology, bro, it has to be either lawful or not, and that's the most important part of everything.
And if it's not lawful,
What's the point of the conversation?
Read the Supreme Court decision on it. It is very clear.
My point is,
hey, yo, this is just an objective to come up here and destroy things. Look, he doesn't know what he's talking about, y'all. And this is all this is an attempt to derail a positive conversation. That's it.
This is Trey.
All it is an attempt to derail a positive conversation.
What I'm clearly saying is that no one knows what they're talking about. Being a conservative allows you to be part of a movement without no investment. That's what conservatism is about. If you go through the actual thing, that's where we at. I got to roll out, man. I got a show to do. You guys have
all right. Thanks, MOT.
See, here's the thing. This is what's so funny about this. And I noticed this about Black people that are Democrats and progressives. They never do any damn research on the opposition. They don't have a clue. I can tell you exactly what a Democrat is about. I can tell you exactly what a liberal is about. I can tell you exactly what a progressive is about. But he just laid out something that ain't even a conservative. A conservative is simply a person in this country that wants the least amount of government control over their personal lives, but still want a strong military in order to protect the country, don't want a lot of taxes, believes in traditional marriage and religion.
Small government.
Conservative is.
Small government.
Conservative.
And here's the issue with that is that there is no identity politics over there. That's why the trans, the homosexuals, the Black men, the Black women, Asians on the right, you don't hear from them because we don't play the identity politics game. It is what it is. When you go to a conservative event or, a Republican event that's not with rhinos, nobody is looking at color. I've had brothers in the space tell me they're scared to go to a MAGA rally. And it's, they be safer in Bed-Stuy at 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, what?
Bro, you know what's funny about that? This is what's so funny about that, right? I was before the election, I was sitting in my car getting ready to do a live stream. A freaking truck pulled up next to me, and the guy sitting in the passenger seat had a MAGA hat on, right? I'm sitting there listening to the Busta Rhymes CD because it just came out and I ordered it, right? So the music's bumping. I'm sitting there nodding my head. I look over. He done took his hat off and set it on the dash because he was eating some food or whatever. He looks over at me and is like, "What's up?" and goes back to eating. He didn't look over at me and say, "What's that music you playing over there, boy?" You know what I'm saying? He didn't do none of that. Now, I know that's an anecdotal story, but in addition to that, I got one to the contrast. I went to freaking UPS on Inauguration Day, and as I'm walking in the UPS spot, a Black woman was walking backwards out the door. When she opened the door, she was telling the freaking clerk that, because based on what Biden said, it's time for the country to unify now. Now, as I'm walking in there, I turn around and say to her, "Your boy is a crook." You know what she did? Went ballistic. Ballistic. I mean, psychotically ballistic. And I said, "Look, man, you just mad because you don't like the truth. Go on about your business now, right?" And I started walking over towards her, so she leaves out and goes to the car. So I go back to conducting my business in the UPS store. She comes to the door and beats on the window, lifts up her shirt and shows her little pistol handle and say, "I got something for you." And then took off back to the car.
What?
And that's a Biden supporter. I've never seen, bro. They swear up and down that MAGA supporters are so violent. If MAGA supporters are so violent, why didn't MAGA supporters burn the entire country down after what just happened?
Yeah, can I say something? I've been to a MAGA rally when Trump was down here, and I didn't have anybody trying to kill me or hurt me. In fact, I was welcome. I was talking to people. People were trying to buy me beer afterwards. So in contrast, You know, I was up in New York back in what was that? I think it was like 2018, and I was invited to the Das Effects concert, and I refused to go because I felt I was going to be unsafe. So I don't know what that Negro was talking about.
Let's go.
So I've been listening for a minute. I heard a bunch of different things mentioned. I'm not going to go through like every single one. I actually have to run off in a bit to work, but I feel like when it comes to politics, a lot of time people get tribal, and that's like why we see what just went down occur, because it's like it becomes about whataboutism a lot of the time. Anytime you bring out a flaw in one person's party, they go, "What about your party?" And the truth is, both of these parties are incredibly corrupt, and to pretend that they're not is disingenuous. It's more so about choosing the party that aligns with your personal values. And where he went wrong, from what I noticed, was he had no empathy. He had no desire to understand the other side. He had some kind of arrogance about him, as if, "Oh, you don't know what I know. That's why you're." But I hear liberals and Democrats go say this shit all the time. It bothers me. They have this really blatant, blunt, disrespecting, condescending tone where it's like, "Oh, if you knew better, you'd understand." And it's like, when you pay attention to their media sources, it's because the narrative of their side is that they have the truth and everyone else is brainwashed. To be fair, the same is true of the Republic. If you watch Fox News, they talk about liberals like they're brainwashed. And if you ask me, most people really are uneducated on politics and only following what's culturally normal to them. So they're all brainwashed, really. And it's like, for example, I used to be the biggest Obama fan. 3 weeks in, I started questioning him. 3 months in, I knew I didn't like him. Try telling that to my old black family, though. It's like, I'm not going to tell my 93-year-old grandpa that the first black president is ass. And I try to have that discussion, and he's like, "Oh, I won't hear it. So it's like...
No, you can't say that to granny, to your grandparents. They don't want to hear that. But go, AM, you was about to jump in real quick. I got to try to...
I was going to add to what he was saying. See, what's insulting to me is when MOT jumps up here and says, "You don't know nothing about politics." Like, bruh, I understand politics. Just because I don't talk about it all the time, or I just all of a sudden decided to talk about it, doesn't mean I'm not knowledgeable in it. And what he just got through saying lets me know he's not that knowledgeable in it, because the Supreme Court does not write legislation. The only thing the Supreme Court can do is verify whether something's constitutional and rule on it to enforce the Constitution. You feel what I'm saying? Or to say that's not constitutional and rule against it. It's called checks and balances. It's the separations of power. They're not supposed to, like, just the fact that he said that was goofy. And it's like, bro, why are you trying to insult everybody and you don't even really understand the basics of politics?
Right on. Gino Richardson, go ahead. I'm gonna pass it to you. Try to be brief because we're getting close to wrapping it up, but I do gotta let want to get to Zero and Hood Conservative. So go ahead, Gino. You haven't formally said whatever you came up to say, so go ahead. You got it.
Y'all go ahead and pass me. I actually lost my point. I'm actually gonna slide off the panel.
All right, cool. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on through. Zero, you got the floor. You got the mic.
What's up? Yeah, I just wanted to say about the whole El Gibbet law thing. So basically, step one, their agenda was framed under the 1964 year of feminism laws. The same year where they got that fucking Super Mario power up and got all of the welfare and sexual control shit passed. And the reason why the El Gibbets did this is because this was in order to establish constitutional correctness, the same type of correctness that caused the tender years doctrine to be abolished, and the same correctness that caused women to no longer be exempt from military draft. They had to establish this because the secondary necessary item was to make the marriage laws acclimate to gender, because the legal definition of marriage is for childbearing and child rearing. It's not about race, but about gender. However, the El Gibbets framed all of their agenda under Black civil rights laws, i.e. 1964. So once they did that, they had to put these two things in place. This is necessary, so that's why I'm explaining it. They had to get those gender laws changed, not gender laws, but gender archetypes changed, because same-sex or same-gender marriage was never illegal. It was never illegal. The LGBTs framed it that way, but it's never illegal. It simply wasn't recognized by the state and thus not sanctioned by the state. And sanctions basically are negative and positive things. You can be sanctioned positively with tax breaks. You can be sanctioned negatively, like when you break up or end the marriage. So they wanted the sanctions. They wanted the legal sanctions, because in order to get those legal sanctions, it wasn't really about, because they don't really benefit the same way a woman would, because under same-sex marriages, they kind of like break even. However, they needed this in order to get this. They needed to back the Supreme Court into a corner. That was the thing. So you have to back the Supreme Court into a legal corner, and all they had to do was basically pay Obama to write their paperwork, and Obama took their paperwork to the Supreme Court, and they had to bend the knee, because Obama's signature on that paperwork is authoritative. And all the Supreme Court did was co-sign Obama's paperwork. And they didn't really have a choice, because the same legality that got the other laws through back in the day, like I said, the military draft was only a couple years ago, but the same constitutional correctness that affects all other laws, the Supreme Court has to uphold constitutionality, but you have to be able to argue it in a way that they can't really loophole or get out of. And that's what the LGBTs did. Once they got those two things in order, they just took it to the Supreme Court. Well, they took it to Obama, then Obama took it to the Supreme Court and was like, this has to be constitutionally recognized, and then they did it. And that's how we got all the shit we got now.
And see, here's the funny thing. I'm glad you brought up 1964, because this is what's so funny about this. You just had a Negro sitting up here talking about being a Democrat and a progressive. And it was a Democratic president, Lyndon B. Johnson, that when they were giving them all of that crap, giving them welfare and the Voters' Rights Act, which Stacey Abrams just used to do some super unconstitutional crap down in Georgia, right? So right after that, you had LBJ overhauling the criminal justice system for the purpose of targeting urban areas and targeting Black people. So it's like the same year that you get the Voters' Rights Act, which is supposed to alleviate all of the problems of trying to stop Black people from voting for lack of having property or whatever goofy other reason that they tried to use. The moment that you supposedly fix that issue, you also overhaul the criminal justice system in order to police Black people more so that you can take away their right to vote. But this Negro is sitting up here talking about being a Democrat and a Black man. That's why it's laughable. It is laughable.
The parties change over time. So yeah, I want to address that too. So the history, what you guys are arguing was kind of like irrelevant nuance in that the parties have changed sides like twice over the last few hundred years. So the history of it kind of doesn't matter, because right now what's being pushed is literally female rights over male rights. Well, female rights at the expense of male rights. So whatever rights that females get is at the expense of male rights. So for instance, when you were discussing earlier how many women are in the Supreme Court and how much power women have, which is what I've been arguing forever, how much power they have, because it's not really about the pussy shit. That's the gynocracy shit, the pussy part. The power game is the feminism angle, which is what you were talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. They have all this power because they are being granted rights at the expense of your rights. So whenever they get a right, you lose a right.
Lose one, yeah.
So that's what the big idea is.
But see, right now, currently, and true enough, the parties do switch. But currently, right now, whenever somebody brings up leftism or progressivism, that is currently the banner that they're flying under. If these women had a flag, it would definitely say progressivism on it. It would definitely say leftism on it. And it would definitely say Democrat on it. Now, it would have Republican up there. It would be up there, but it would be under Democrat.
Yeah, but progressivism itself isn't necessarily bad. What's bad is the welfare. And that's what I talk about all the time. It's the welfare.
Look,
so the party that is pro-welfare is the Democratic Party.
See, here's the thing, though. I'm going to show you what they did. You're right. In essence, progressivism isn't bad, but they've adopted it to have a certain meaning and a certain idea. It's just like with it's a trick bag, just like with Black Lives Matter. Okay.
Well, it's included with socialism now. You can't have one. You can't have progressivism without socialism. And
it is socialism.
So
the idea is progressivism uses the government to solve social problems. That kind of is socialism. So you'll never get away from it.
Yeah, and see the issue is like when you sit there. See, this is why Black people have such a difficult time getting away from leftism or like progressivism, because a lot of those ideological views, if you look at the right is basically saying, okay, race shouldn't be the determining factor of who you are, right? But the left is saying, oh, that's racism. Because if you don't want to acknowledge my race, then I'm gonna get left out in the shuffle. I'm gonna lose in that situation, because if we don't acknowledge race, then Black people are not gonna get what Black people believe they got coming to them. So the problem is, it's kind of hard for Black people to get away from the left, because the left is focused on race, which at one time, that's what pro-Blackness is. So,
but at the same time, AM, that plays, the longer you go along and the longer you move away from history, now you get a precedence or a hierarchy of intersectionality. So now just being Black ain't enough. You got to be Black, and you got to be a woman. You got to be a Black, you got to be a woman that's LGBT. You got to be a woman, and that's the shit of where we're at now. And that's why we're gonna always lose out, because the first thing, like Zero said, is you're a man. A man is like negative 10,000 points, nigga.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem, Mr. Fantastic. And I said this on the stream. I said the problem, because me and Grinch had a little back and forth about it. And I told him, I said, look, the problem is there's nothing wrong with Black people being proud of being Black. But what they don't realize is, because a lot of Black ideology parallels with left ideology, they think that's a good place for them to be. But like you just got through saying, they've attached intersectionality to that. And the analogy that I used on the show is basically racial equality is the train, and everything else is the caboose. So what they basically do is they use racial inequality to get the agenda started. But what happens is, once they get it rolling, the only ones that's getting any benefit from the situation is all of the rail cars that's behind it.
Yep, while the race does all the work. Exactly. The race is the motor that pulls everything to it, and all they got to do is ride along for the ride. And like you said, man, to this point, if you're out here claiming or promoting progressivism, you're just going against Black men, bro. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Straight Black men, we're like literally now at the bottom of the bottom. There is no intersectionality group that we trump. And when you get down to it, you're not even seen as a sympathetic figure. So you don't even get any hopes or any points versus the man conversation of the white man, because now they flipping on you further and say, well, you're a man. If you're a man, you're a strong, straight man. Why you need any type of these exceptions? That's weakness. So it's like a triple fucking, it's a triple fuck over, man. It's just you cannot win. So whatever your political ideology may be, and again, man, shout out to MOT, bro. But you can't get up here and tell black men they're not serious about politics, man, and then base it on the history when the facts and the presence is now progressivism goes against you. Progressivism goes against you as an individual and as your group as a whole. So again, man, I don't really take no offense to the shit. Make sure y'all vote for Fantastic like 2026, nigga. Holla at me. All right, that's all I gotta say right now.
Well, look, here's the thing. Like the thing is, and I've noticed nowadays, how you gain power is you leverage your victimization. And the problem is, black men have never been recognized as victims. This society will never recognize black men as a victim. So what happens?
Straight men can't play that card either. Like alpha straight typical men just can't play that card, and I wouldn't advise it either. You have to find a honorable way forward, something where you don't lose face, as they say.
Yeah, because you can't play that card. I mean, if you look at what Dr. Curry said in The Man Not, there's never a case where a black man is allowed to be vulnerable or even can be considered a victim. So what's happening is right now you have, and people don't even realize this, there's a fight going on between white men and black women for who has the title of being the most victimized. And the reason why is because white men have finally realized that that's what people are using in order to gain power, is victimization. So now when you go around these spaces, you hear white men constantly complaining about how they're being demonized and people are being racist towards them and treating them like they're these monsters and this, that, and the third. You start to notice those conversations now.
Yeah, can I say something?
You know the funny thing though?
Intersectional shit. So intersectionality is bullshit, and I'm gonna tell you why. So intersectionality does not exist for men. It has to exist because of what you guys were talking about when you weaponize victimization. Mm-hmm. So what black women did was weaponize the victimization by splitting it off into trying to make feminism be a black woman versus white woman thing, and that doesn't exist. Feminism is women, period. There is no black woman feminism versus white woman. There isn't. Feminism benefits all women equally. Intersectionality is a way for black women to say my struggle is more struggle than your struggle, which is bullshit. Yep. And it's focused and aimed at black men because whatever welfare you can benefit will just simply go to them because they're a woman. And again, it translates to my struggle is more struggle than your struggle because I'm a black woman. That's the problem with the intersectionality shit. It's bullshit, and it actually does not exist. Some chick made it up in like 91. She was a lawyer, and she did it for the express purpose of getting more welfare power. That's really what it's about. Like I think people really need to understand how feminism works. It is a welfare machine. This is why BLM got co-opted by it.
But you got
because BLM was getting free money.
But you got to admit, if nobody's recognized this yet, let me point it out for you. Black women pull the okie doke on white women. Explain. They pull the okie doke on them with that. Because look, right now, like everybody will argue, oh, well, white women, they're the most protected or whatever. Check this out, fam. You ever been in any store where a black woman just started cutting up? Just notice how everybody tries to pretend like they don't see it. Everybody. Yeah. Black men, white women, everybody. Don't nobody want no smoke with that situation. I've peeped that. The only time, like if somebody is brave enough to call the police will come and they'll handle it. But so far as just regular people, black women get to cutting up, they be like, I don't see it.
You know what? I say that's the test right there of when you know things are going to turn on a dime is when white women are publicly afraid, like on the news, publicly afraid of black women. Once that shit starts coming out, oh, it's gonna be bad after that. Once they are no longer afraid to get on TV and say how they really feel and what they really been seeing as they look. You live in a city like fucking San Francisco is infamous now for having shit all over the streets. Like once they just start talking about the little ins and outs of all that kind of shit, like people are gonna start having a whole different attitude about this, afraid to talk about black people shit. This thing can't last forever,
Now, if there's any type of intersectionality, it's with the El Gibbet crowd, because the thing is, minority status, again, a 1964 communism weapon. That's another one of those deals that got handed out in 1964, the whole double, triple stacking minority statuses. The people who have the most power right now are the El Gibbets, which is why they're such a powerful minority. They're like 0.4 of the population, but they have all the fucking power because they leverage feminism to get all of the rights. They have more power than black women. They have more power than white women because they have all the minority statuses.
Yeah, but some of them are black women.
Yeah, exactly. Which makes them even more of a minority.
Yeah. So like when you
some of those dudes are black women now.
Exactly, that too.
Yeah. So like when you come across
like they're just growing their numbers artificially all over the board.
Yeah, it's like they're a triple victim. You feel me? Like it'd be like I'm a woman, I'm part of the alphabet, and I'm black. So I've struggled the most. It's the struggle Olympics, right?
Go. All right, we passed the 3-hour mark. I typically only like to go 3 hours, but it got a little intense, got a little out of hand when MOT came up. Angry man, you the ones told him to come up. No,
yeah, the first time we done, man. Me and MOT done went back and forth on BGS channel, and then another time we'll encounter each other and we be mad cool with each other, man. It's all good with MOT, man.
All right. But we about to wrap this up. We got to get up out of here. I'd like to thank everybody who came through, who's shared, liked, subscribed, super chatted. Speaking of super chats, the people that super chatted that I didn't get to read it or shout it out, number 16 in the building with the super chat. Appreciate that. He mentioned the Southern Strategy is the only mentioned the party that. Oh, let me read that. It looked interesting. He said, only know one party that had the Southern Strategy. I only know one party that had trickle-down economics. You can be a conservative without supporting the GOP. Interesting there. Brother Pete in the building. He said conservatives see to conserve is the spirit of the Constitution in the past. If the letter fell short, then it was amended and not peacefully. Ray Clemens says the Mississippi Maggle, get out of there. And Brother Pete that came through with another one. Zero came through the super chat, but I think he said pretty much everything that he said in the super chat right there. Shout out to David Johnson, came through the super chat. The Golden Eagle said, can someone ask MOT where in history did white Southerners in the Jim Crow South consider themselves political conservative? Newspapers, magazines, articles, quotes from politicians as evidence. AJCN Red said, he said, Truth Suit is progressive. Shout out to AJCN Red. And Yang says, dude doesn't know his history. He trying to convince dudes KKK was conservative. Get the hell out of here. MOT is using his mama's talking points. That's Thriller said that. Shout out to Thriller Maurice in the building. Says, I don't think people understand that we need power in both parties in order to get policy passed that benefits the community as a whole. I mean, yeah, I know that, right? Or we can continue playing tug of war and get nothing done. Mr. Fantastic came through the super. Okay, you cracking more jokes on Truth.
Well, I
more.
Tell you what, one thing I know about the South around that time, if you go back to Reconstruction, Rutherford B. Hayes said this statement. He said, not all Democrats were rebels, but all rebels were definitely Democrats. So put that, MOT, if you watch and put that in your pipe and smoke it.
All right.
Always a Mississippi Negro that gotta come and start some trouble, man. You need to cut that out, bro.
Chainbreaker said, finally, MOT revealed zero. It cracked another joke on Truth. Man, y'all got to get off Truth, man.
Oh, these niggas love talking about.
They be super chatting each other. They can't just drop a joke in the chat. They got to super chat their jokes about Truth.
Yeah, well, I'm cool with it. Keep clowning me. Matter of fact, start a competition. Who can talk the most shit about me in super chat?
Mr. Shane Vicious said these Trump sexuals never voted GOP before 2016. Shout out to Mr. Shane Vicious. He always dropping that in there. He said, I think that's it. I think I made it to where I left off. Doug says, I would like to see a real discussion with MOT, Angry Man, Big Trucking Fantastic, and Mike V on policies for Black men, if that's possible. Yeah, it's difficult to get a civilized discussion going on with that group. MOT be clowning. I never, not until the political season came and the brothers who were supporting the Republican Party or was more conservative, the MOT. I mean, I've seen MOT go off, but he went off bad. When it came to the whole politics things this past.
You're
election.
welcome for that. That was my gift to y'all. I had to reveal him for y'all.
He's suffering from that Trump derangement syndrome. That's what's wrong with him. That joke you hear Donald, the Donald, I can't wait for 2024. He really gonna be pissed.
I'm gonna win in 2024.
Man, you know what's killing me about these people?
I don't believe that.
None of them are singing the praises of the nigga they just voted for. Y'all motherfuckers did every cheating scam y'all could run. We just read a whole Times article about the links you motherfuckers went to get your guy in office, and ain't none of y'all did one congratulations stream. I'm happy about Joe Biden. Where's that at? I want to see the celebration. I'm waiting for the party. I know I'm not invited, but start the motherfucking party already.
They're ashamed.
Right.
Let me get my last word.
Yeah, they're ashamed. We know they're ashamed.
Malcolm in the middle, 87 said niggas pass out bottles of water at a meeting. Now they the leader.
He set a record though. Biden has set a new record. He is the first U.S. president to get booed at the Super Bowl.
Whoa.
Facts.
Yep. Facts. Yep.
And that was in Tampa. They booed. Wow. I didn't even realize
a whole stadium full of people want their $2,000, nigga.
Whole stadium.
Man, Red Sings the Blue says, Man of Tomorrow sounds like the same progressive that gets pegged by the same one. Okay, we ain't doing that one. We not going there. MOT, in the words of Jay-Z, we don't believe you. You need more people. Man, I missed a lot of these super chats. I think I made it to the end of them. Well, not the end of them, but where I started missing them because it got too intense, tricky.
I hate to tell you, but MOT, the Manosphere might be the wrong place for you to be talking liberal talking points, bro. That's just a guess. It's just a guess because most dudes know liberal talking points usually lead to plantation politics, bro.
Yeah, Ray Clemens, Tricky Trini. That don't sound right. You need to change that one. Peaceful Pulley, Nuruddin, Nick Penn. Okay, I made it back down to where I was at. So shout out to everybody that super chat. Sorry I couldn't read it. I mean, MOT and Angry Man going at it. That's impossible for me to stop that and read a super chat. Oswald in the building at the buzzer with a super chat, and I just saw somebody else, Bro Truth. Hey, I'm sorry you've been left down there in the back chat, man. I my bad, Bro Truth. My bad. Actually, come up. You got 45 seconds. Say something, Bro Truth. I'm sorry.
I just realized that MOT actually voted for the commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
He voted for Biden, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what the shame is about, bro. He got to defend that now for 4 years. He know nobody's gonna forget that. I'm gonna roast you for 4 years, just so you know. I'm gonna make a career out of talking shit about you niggas from the future. Think you know everything.
Yeah. All right. Yeah,
just,
bro, too. If I had too many people on the panel, it was too
intense, too
wild. I didn't mean to leave you down there like that, man. Go ahead.
Man. Hey, man, I was out in the cold, man, roasting hot dogs next to a fire, man. It's all cool.
All right, go ahead. Hey, go ahead and have some brief words.
Real talk. So this is pretty much a argument between the collective and individual, right?
When you're talking about progressivism, it's all about the collective, all about putting you in a group. LGBT, black people, it's all about basically pigeonholing you into a particular group. That way you can be controlled from the top. When you have a collective of mind state, you then allow the government to mandate your rights. You allow the government to basically control you as a group. An individualistic mind state, you're an individual. You have sovereign rights as an individual. You have God-given rights. They cannot be taken away, cannot be manipulated by any entity, any government entity. So that's where we're at right now, man. It's a battle between the individual mind state, which leads to more liberty, more freedom, and basically more wealth for everyone, because an individual can actually self-actualize himself. Whereas with a group, you collectivize everything. Everyone's expected to be a certain way. Everyone's expected to perform in a certain role, and anything outside of that, you will be chastised and you will be reprimanded. So that's where we're at right now, between the progressive mind state and the conservative mind state. And for a brother to come up here and try to put labels on something that he has no idea what he's talking about, I'm hoping that he gets educated on shit, for real.
All right. Before we get out of here, Angry Man, you got any last thing you want to leave us with before we get out of here?
All I gotta say is, look, before any of you brothers want to jump on panels and start talking trash to people about politics and policy and the definitions of things, man, at least do your research first, man. And I don't see the purpose in that. Everybody was having a very good discussion.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that we gotta stop doing is we gotta stop provoking each other unnecessarily just for the sake of being right or attempting to be right. You know what I'm saying? If he felt like brothers were not doing their job politically, then he should have came up here and said, hey man, you know what? I've been noticing y'all brothers talking about this. What we need to do is XYZ. He could have just did it like that. It'd have been no problem. Everybody would listen to what he had to say. Because at the end of the day, it's just like Fantastic said, brothers got to start moving in a more productive manner, flat out.
Right on. And we leaving it right there. I see you trying to say something, Truth. I'm sorry. I got to go. I got to call it. Man. We will speak again. We will speak again. All right, y'all. We out of here. Peace.